You're listening to the Fire and Thunder Sports Podcast. Be sure to tune in live every Sunday from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. on 9.3 FM WMSC.
And we got a jam-packed show coming for today. Normally I do my opening monologue, just telling you how I'm doing stuff and stuff like away from sports. So we have no time for that. We got to just jump right into it. So much stuff to get into. We're gonna have a host today, Jack Barteck, the host of Fire Take Sports from Mondays 1 to 4 p.m. here at WMSC. We're gonna have him on shortly. He's running a bit late, but he should be joining us in studio shortly. We're gonna break down a bunch of stuff. Major League Baseball All-Star voting is out. The voting is out. We know who the stars are. We're gonna break down all the stars. We're gonna break down all-star selections. Did the fans get right? Who else should make the team? Who should be the reserves? We'll break down all that stuff for you. We're going to go deep dive into the Mets. That's Jack Barteck here is a fellow Mets fan. We're going to go into a deep dive of the dumpster fire. What's the reason for it? What should the Mets do going forward? Is it time to buy? Is it time to sell? All to that. But also the big story right now is NBA free agency. And in terms of our local teams, the Brooklyn Nets is all but confirmed, according to agent Wojciechowski. Kyrie Irving will be signing a 4-year, $141 million max deal with the Brooklyn Nets as soon as free agency opens today at 6 p.m. At 6 p.m. As soon as for those who don't know, NBA free agency officially begins today, June 30th at 6 p.m. That's when players can officially sign contracts with the teams. That's when contracts officially expire, so everything becomes official. And it's being reported by agent Wojciechowski, basically the king of NBA insiders, that Kyrie Irving will be signing a max deal with the Brooklyn Nets. It's been rumored a long time that the Nets were Kyrie Irving, after he declined his play option with the Boston Celtics, that whole debacle. They will get into that, and is it a good sign for that? So we'll get into all the reasons for that, but just giving you the groundwork, he declined his play option, which I believe was $21 million. He declined that, so he became an unrestricted an unrestricted free agent. So it was rumored for a long time that the Nets were where he was leaning towards. There was reports early on that he was going to go to the Knicks. It was from Stephen A. It was 95% sure that Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving were going to go to the Knicks. That ultimately fell flat on his face, and then all of a sudden Kyrie Irving started to really prefer the Brooklyn Nets. There were a lot of reports that he really liked the infrastructure, he really liked the culture there, he liked the infrastructure, the management, Sean Marks, Kenny Exton, all that. He really liked he really found Brooklyn to be an attractive free agency destination. So he ultimately fell in love with Brooklyn, and now it is reported that it's all but confirmed that agent Wojciechowski is reporting that Kyrie Irving will meet with the Nets today, and they're expected to get a deal done quickly. And basically, as soon as free agency officially begins, Kyrie Irving should officially sign his new deal with the Brooklyn Nets, which again is a max deal, 4 years, $141 million. And the ramifications of all that, a big ramification of this is they also reported, agent Wojciechowski also reported almost immediately after this that the Nets were expected to officially renounce their restricted free agent all-star point guard D'Angelo Russell. He's 23. The 23-year-old, will fit. For 23-year-olds, it was a restricted free agent after the Nets made a qualifying offer. We have Jack. We have Jack joining us officially in studio now. What's going on, my man? And just getting back to what I was saying earlier, that the Nets are officially going to renounce, D'Angelo Russell to become an unrestricted free agent. And there were reports that the Nets are going to, try to work on a sign and trade with D'Angelo Russell to try to work with him to get to him. Is reportedly preferred, free agency destination. So I'm just going to give my brief thoughts on this. I'm going to let you chime in, Jack. My thoughts on this whole Kyrie Irving versus D'Angelo Russell debate. Who should the Nets keep D'Angelo? Should they go after Kyrie Irving? Kyrie Irving seems really interested in Brooklyn. What should the Nets do? My opinion from the start going into this offseason was the only way you do not bring D'Angelo Russell back is if you plan on going all in on these next 4 years to becoming a legitimate title contender. The only way you don't bring D'Lo back is if you're going all in on these next 4 years. And to bring a guy like Kyrie Irving, obviously, is going to be a big help. Is obviously big leagues. I mean, he's one of the best players, and he's one of the best point guards in the NBA. He's arguing, a top 10 player right now in the NBA. Without doubt, talent-wise, I don't think there's really a comparison, at least right now, between D'Angelo Russell and Kyrie Irving. There's no denying that. But we see Kyrie Irving has had his problems with, in Boston. He failed as a leader there. He wanted to be the man in Boston, and obviously, after his whole fall with LeBron, he wanted to go to a place where he could prove he could be the best player on a championship team, and he tried to do that in Boston, and he ultimately failed. And now the Nets are going to try. Now the Nets are bringing him in bringing him on max deal, and there has been a lot of reports that the Nets reportedly did not want Kyrie Irving as a sole act. That the reason why they're signing him is to him kind of like a draw to bring in Kevin Durant. That was the Nets offseason goal. Their big plan A this entire offseason was to pair Kyrie Irving and Kevin Durant, and this is obviously a big step towards that. And I'm all for that. If the Nets bring Kevin Durant to pair with Kyrie Irving, you and me, Jack, we talked about this. We're doing a parade down North Avenue. We're gonna be as soon as the sign's made official, we're gonna be doing a parade. But if the Nets don't get Kevin Durant and they have to sell on, let's say, a Julius Randle or a Tobias Harris, both of our players, don't get me wrong, but pairing Kyrie Irving and Tobias Harris, does that make you a championship contender? Does that make you? Because even with those two guys, you're still gonna be in the same exact situation as in Boston, where Kyrie Irving is the man and the number one guy, and we saw how that worked out, and that we saw how that worked out in Boston. You're gonna try the exact same thing in Brooklyn, and expect it to be any different. And the big thing is you're letting go of D'Angelo Russell, your homegrown all-star, the guy that you developed. The Lakers kicked him to the curb. You brought him in, and he fell in love with the culture here. He became your guy. You developed him. He's an all-star, 23 years old. He's only going to get better. And now you're bringing him in for let's just say for bringing Kyrie Irving as the number one act, which failed in Boston. Now, again, if Kevin Durant comes, forget everything I just said there. I'll be doing a parade because Kyrie Irving will then be the number 2 option to Kevin Durant whenever Kevin Durant comes back from his Achilles injury. He'll be his much more preferred role as a number 2 option. But Kyrie Irving as the number 1 option and letting go of your 23-year-old all-star point guard, Jack Barteck, I'm just not a fan of that idea. What do you think?
Well, I think that you hit a lot of good points, and I agree with you on a lot of what you said. And I'll start from the top of my analysis of everything that's happened so far with the Nets. And, we've heard so many rumors from day one of free agency, and there's going to be so many conflicting reports. Everybody just wants to put something out there to draw clicks and, get views and whatever. So There's a lot of information to sort through. Exactly. But at its core, it looks like the Nets are going to bring in Kyrie Irving at 6 o'clock. The pen can officially hit the paper, so pretty much a done deal. So Kyrie Irving will be a Brooklyn Net. And I feel, first I want to talk about the reaction to this from Net fans that I've seen so far. And not only Net fans, but just fans around the NBA, because this is big news. So accounts
this is huge news.
Yeah, SportsCenter, Sports Nation, CBS Sports, all those accounts.
This is without doubt the biggest free agency signing in Nets history.
Oh, no doubt. No doubt. And I think Kyrie Irving will probably be until maybe sometime next week, will be the biggest superstar to ever play for the Nets franchise, let alone the Brooklyn Nets. He's by far going to be the biggest star to play for the Brooklyn Nets until, like I said, hopefully next week, when another guy joins him. We'll get to that. So, obviously all the big sports accounts are posting about this. So I don't know why I do this. It gets me frustrated every time I do it. I read the comments. I don't know. I get a kick out of it.
There's time in that. I read comments all the time. It's the thing that I tell myself, don't read the comments.
Oh, yeah.
Don't read the comments.
I do
but you just cannot help to just see. I want to see what people are saying. I want to see what people are thinking. And then you have string up something, some comment that you really just don't like, and it ends up triggering you. So it's a mistake. But you can't.
We all make it. Yeah. So I read the comments, and all you see is Nets slander about how they're gonna let their homegrown all-star point guard go for a guy who ruined things in Boston, and how could they do this? And he'll be gone in 2 years. He'll ruin the culture. They're going to have a losing team again in 2 years. Way to go against everything you said. And here's what I'll say to that. So, first of all, just from a talent standpoint, I want you to answer me something. So, D'Angelo Russell, in the best case scenario, what can D'Angelo Russell be? He would be hopefully a superstar point guard, right? Top 3 point guard in the NBA, right?
Top three. Around kind of like it's hard to find a really good comparison of what his best case scenario is.
But a top 3 point guard in the NBA, right?
Top 3 point guard in the NBA, top 10 player like in the NBA. Kind of like a top 10 player in the NBA, kind of like that. So kind of like a Damian Lillard.
Yeah, okay.
Kind of like a Damian Lillard type.
So Kyrie Irving, before everybody got into the bad chemistry issues last year and that whole attention surrounded him and he started to drop a little. What is Kyrie Irving? A superstar point guard.
I want to say superstar, but he's a
easily
star point guard.
Personally, in my opinion, he's the second best point guard in the NBA.
Really?
Behind Steph Curry.
Okay. Right now, I'd have to have him below Damian Lillard. Right now, I mean, maybe my opinion will change, like when he's like hitting game winners for the Nets. My opinion will do a complete 180 on that. But right now, I have him below Damian Lillard.
But either way, top 3 point guard in the league. So you're getting pretty much D'Angelo Russell's ceiling.
Pretty much.
Talent wise, that's just from a talent standpoint. And like you said, obviously, Kyrie Irving is the better basketball player right now. Right now, Kyrie Irving is the more talented.
There's no debate.
Yeah. And so that's just talent-wise. You're getting the more talented player. Now, second, I totally understand how it's going to be bittersweet letting D'Angelo Russell go.
Oh, very bittersweet.
And I hate it. It's a terrible feeling watching the guy that brought you back, and now you just have to let him go. But I clearly think there's still a mutual love and respect there. And the reason I say that...
I don't think there's going to be any bad blood between Sean Marks and D'Angelo.
I would not be surprised to see D'Angelo Russell come back later in his career at some point. Because
if D'Angelo ends up coming back, let's just say the Nets sign Kyrie Irving, then they sign Kevin Durant. Kevin Durant plays 3 years, then Kevin Durant goes, then D'Angelo comes back.
Who knows? Who knows? Because the whole sign and trade thing to send him to a location where he wants to go, that doesn't happen very often. You don't really see that a lot.
I mean, that's the thing. Like, if they're going to try to sign and trade to his preferred destination, he could just sign with his preferred destination.
Exactly.
And restricted free agency. Like, that doesn't really make any sense.
That's two people wanting to help each other out.
Yeah.
And also, the fact that he knew about the Kyrie and Kevin Durant rumors. He heard them swirling around, and he still said, I want to be in Brooklyn. I love the city. I'm willing to wait and see what they have to do. And at the end of the day, if it's not me, it's a business decision. He knows what it is, and I think...
Could have handled it better. He could not have handled it better.
Exactly. And I'm going to wait until the pen hits the paper to really, truly go into it, but cannot thank D'Angelo Russell enough for what he's done, bringing us back from the worst point in franchise history.
Without a doubt, the worst point in, like... Can you name me a franchise that was at a lower point than the Nets were in, like, 2017 when they got the number 1 pick but it went to Boston? They were coming up the worst record in the NBA?
Probably not. Yeah. But brings us back in a span of 3 years.
Has like, probably one of the best seasons by a player in Nets history. He leads his team to a play... He's leads the team to the playoffs. He's the engine of one of the most. They nailed last time the Nets were this one loss than this past season. Probably
back when it was Jason Kidd, Vince Carter, and Richard Jefferson, which was over a decade ago now, which is hard to believe, but that's
which is more fun, like the D'Angelo Russell days or the Darren Williams days, which is more fun.
Oh, D'Angelo Russell days,
exactly. Not
because that team never felt like.
Even though they were winning, it just something just didn't feel right.
Yeah, I totally.
I never thought that we could make a run with this team. There's nothing real. I never really felt anything special those days, but with this past season, I felt something special.
Yeah,
special, and yeah.
But he was awesome, and can't thank him enough for everything he's done. So I totally understand, and I don't want people or even you to take what I'm saying the wrong way and think that I'm just willing to kick D'Angelo Russell to the curb, because it's really gonna stink to see him go. I really don't want to see that. But with that being said, now looking at Kyrie Irving's issues, you could say. I put air quotes around issues because of what I'll get into. But, a lot of people blame him for what happened in Boston. And I will start by saying he does shoulder a decent amount of the blame. Probably most of the blame, arguably.
Most of the blame, yeah.
But with that being said, I think there's a lot more issues there in Boston than just Kyrie Irving. And I think that will be exposed. I read an ESPN piece about it the other day. I think that there's a lot more that happened there. A la Gordon Hayward coming back from injury, not nearly as efficient, and causing Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown to lower their efficiency. There was a lot more problems there. Terry Rozier thinking that he deserved to play more than Kyrie Irving because of one playoff run in a weak Eastern Conference when Jason Tatum was playing the best basketball of his career. I mean, Terry Rozier can complain all he wants, and yeah, he did have to sacrifice. But in 20 minutes a game this year, he didn't even average 10 points a game. So, I mean, he can complain all he wants, but at the end of the day, pretty much anybody in the league not named Steph Curry or arguably Damian Lillard is going to sit behind Kyrie Irving.
Exactly.
So you got to be able to get used to that. And I think Terry Rozier is a nice backup point guard. I don't think he's much more than that if you want to be a winning team. So in Boston, I think there's a lot more problems than just Kyrie Irving. And I think that those problems led to Kyrie Irving not wanting to be there.
Like Kyrie Irving, there were problems with Boston, but Kyrie Irving just didn't handle them well. Yeah.
Exactly.
Which Kyrie does deserve a blame for that, because as the man and as the leader, you're supposed to deal with these kind of problems internally. You're supposed to handle these problems a lot better. I remember one time when he was getting mad at who was it that took a shot, and then he got mad at who was the player that took the last shot of the game, and he got mad that
I think it was Jason Tatum.
Yeah, when Jason Tatum took that shot, Kyrie Irving got mad. I don't know. I'm like, why you make a big deal of that? What he thought he thought he had a good look, and he took a look. Why you I don't understand why Kyrie was just so triggered about that.
Well, to be fair, in that I know what game you're talking about, the Magic game early in the season, and that's one game that I've pointed to throughout this whole process. And a lot of people wanted to say that he was the leader in Boston, the unquestioned leader, and he should shoulder all this blame because he was the leader and it was his fault that the team got to this point. And I point to that game and I say, if he was the unquestioned leader and you see him in the huddle asking Brad Stevens for the ball, he wants the ball in that situation. And then they go out and they don't even look at him and immediately give the ball to Jason Tatum in the corner. I think there was clearly some questions there about Kyrie Irving's leadership. If it was the Nets, D'Angelo Russell was the leader last year. He wants the ball, he gets the ball.
Actually, I wanted to bring that up because there were multiple times this season where I remember earlier in this, especially in the season, where Kenny Atkinson would sit D'Angelo Russell for Spencer Dinwiddie because he liked the way Spencer Dinwiddie was running the team.
But
how would Kyrie Irving handle that?
But if D'Angelo Russell said he wanted the last shot, he would probably be getting the last shot. Think about.
I also remember that. Remember that unbelievable comeback game, the Sacramento Kings game.
Yeah.
There was a play drawn up for D'Angelo Russell to score a last shot, but once he saw that Ron House Jefferson had a good look, he told Ronnie, just go. He diverted to Ronnie and ended up paying off.
But
that's leadership right there. That's true leadership.
I hear what you're saying, but on a team with one unquestioned leader, if they want the ball, they get the ball, and I think that one play showed a lot of the issues there because Kyrie Irving's leadership, in my opinion, was questioned by the players around him. I don't think a lot of the guys felt. I think a feeling in the organization was that they could win without him because they did. But if you look at what happened, they were playing in an Eastern Conference where nobody really put a competitive team together because LeBron James was in the East, so there was really no point to because you were going to lose in the Eastern Conference Finals anyway if you made it that far. So the Eastern Conference was weak. The Celtics made an improbable run that they probably shouldn't have went on, but Jason Tatum was scorching hot. Jaylen Brown played the best basketball of his career. Terry Rozier played well, and they were lucky in circumstances. They got the right matchups, and they made it to the Eastern Conference Finals. And yeah, they had LeBron James down 3-2, but that's because LeBron James coasted through the series, and when he wanted to turn it on.
Oh, just a little thing here. I forgot we were introducing a little twist today. I have the Yankees, Red Sox, London series, the second game right on the big screen, and J.D. Martinez just hit a home run, and the Red Sox are winning 3-0 in the bottom of the first.
There you go. Okay. We'll get to this later, I would imagine, but the baseballs are juiced.
Oh yeah. You heard when the baseball was introduced?
Yeah, and
we'll get into that later.
Supposedly, Rob Manfred says that the manufacturing process has not changed, but I beg to differ.
Sorry, we're going off topic.
Yeah,
here.
But I digress. Back to the Nets Kyrie Irving situation. The last thing I want to talk about is the culture and the fit. So you look at Kyrie Irving, and this has been said a couple times throughout the week. He got drafted to Cleveland. He got traded to Boston. This is the first time he'll be a free agent and get to pick where he wants to go. Yeah. And he is choosing the Brooklyn Nets. And this is his hometown. He's in a place where he wants to be. He grew up a Net fan. And he's going to be around his family. And he's coming in with a chip on his shoulder. Because exactly. I don't know. I mean, you just said you've been reading the comments lately. He has been disrespected a lot lately. I know people who are saying that the Celtics are lucky to have Kemba Walker. And they can't wait to get Kyrie Irving out. And yeah, there was chemistry issues. Kyrie Irving is a better player than Kemba Walker. You can understand why
Celtics fans feel that way.
But it's not only Celtics fans, is the thing. Now it's becoming a league-wide thing that people have been almost had a short memory with Kyrie Irving. Because I don't know if you remember 2016, he had one of the biggest shots in NBA history.
Exactly.
In a 40-point performance to win Game 7 of the NBA Finals on the road against the 73-9 Warriors. Let's not act like this guy's resume is nothing. He's a 6-time All-Star, an NBA champion, and like I said, hit one of the greatest shots in NBA history. So he's got the body of work. Respect. What I want to say to people is respect his body of work. And people haven't done that, so I think he's going to come in with a chip on his shoulder, which will determine him to play even more well than he did in Boston, where he didn't really have that chip on his shoulder.
Yeah, he never really had, I get all the points you're making. He never really had that chip on his shoulder. He's coming to a brand new environment, and that's why I want to say maybe Nets culture can help bring out the best of Kyrie Irving, that the same way it did with D'Angelo Russell. My whole thing is my argument to stay the same is that if the Nets weren't going to go all in on these next 4 years, which I think we can easily say by signing Kyrie Irving, they're going all in on these next 4 years.
Yeah, 100%. Because
if you weren't, I personally like your chances much better if you do that with Kyrie Irving and Kevin Durant than with this Kyrie Irving just as the main solo, because we didn't see that in Boston. Like at that point, I would rather just bring back D'Angelo Russell, sign a power forward like Tobias Harris or Julius Randle, and then just punt whenever the next big time free agency year is, and then you end up going through that. That's what I would have done. That's what I would have done. Yeah.
And you made a perfect segue for me talking about, you said Nets culture, and the thing about Nets culture, and I don't think that Nets fans. I think last year was almost like. It kind of took the bad taste out of our mouths as a Net fan. It's hard to describe what last year did. It almost made us forget where we were and where we should have been last year. And I just want people to realize what is happening here before they get upset about the Nets signing Kyrie Irving. 3 years ago, Sean Marks and Kenny Atkinson came in. They didn't have a first-round pick to their name. They didn't have a second-round pick for 5 years.
Exactly.
They were one of the worst teams in the NBA, and they didn't have a hint of talent.
I'm going to tell you. Speaking of, we're about to sign Kyrie Irving as our starting point guard. You know who was our point guard during that 2016-2017 season for a lot of games? My boy Isaiah Whitehead.
Isaiah Whitehead, yeah. I read a list of Nets point guards the other day that was just it was hilarious. And Grievous Vasquez, C.J. Watson. I mean the list goes on and on.
And that's Isaiah Whitehead, by the way.
Yeah, I love Isaiah Whitehead.
Brooklyn born,
former Seton Hall
the role
Pirate.
that Spencer Dinwiddie is playing right now, that's kind of sixth man. That's how I thought Isaiah Whitehead was going to be, but it didn't work out.
Yeah, but
he's still Brooklyn born, the Cyclone. Like Isaiah Whitehead, if you're listening, we love you. We still love you.
No doubt about that. But, that's the depth that the Nets were at. Nobody wanted to be there. They were the laughing stock of the league. It was like a black hole. Yeah. You went there was no winning, and there was no hope for the foreseeable future because what were we going to do? If we tanked, we didn't get to pick anyway.
Exactly.
So what were we supposed to do? And they have turned that to, in 3 years, you have, in 8 hours, a top 3 point guard in the NBA.
At the very least, top 3.
A probable future Hall of Famer, willing and ready to sign to your team with no hesitation. And in a few days, arguably another one coming.
Yeah.
And the fact that you're in on all these free agents should say a lot.
It says a lot about the job that Sean Marks and Kenny Exon have done in in such a short time. And it just proves that, like, in sports, you could be like in the worst situation possible. You could be in a situation the Mets are in right now. Like, if you hire the right guy, see how fast things can turn around.
Exactly. And the Nets are in such a good position right now. There are worse problems to have than should we re-sign D'Angelo Russell or should we sign Kyrie Irving. Ask the Hornets if they want our problems right now.
Yeah.
Ask the Hornets what they think about signing Kyrie Irving. I bet they would love it. I bet they would kill to sign Kyrie Irving right now. So
that's the thing. According to H.G. Wojciechowski, there's supposed to be like a huge market for D'Angelo Russell. So it just shows that the respect he's gained around the NBA and how well of a job the Nets have done developing him.
And let's not act like the Nets are taking D'Angelo Russell and kicking him to the curb.
Like I hate that narrative too. I saw a comment like in this Nets Facebook group that I am, like, who did D'Angelo Russell dirty more, Magic Johnson or Sean Marks? It's not even comparable.
Which is ridiculous. The Nets gave him a shot when nobody else wanted him. They came in, they mutually benefited each other, and now...
And the Nets have said, as we report multiple times, that the Nets wanted to bring D'Angelo Russell back, but they were going to go to try, pair Kyrie Irving and Kevin Durant. And that opportunity was just something that they couldn't pass up. It's no disrespect to D'Angelo. Magic Johnson literally said he's not a leader, we're kicking him to the curb, goodbye. He disrespected them in a way that I have never seen a front office executive disrespect a player.
Yeah, and now the Nets are taking that next step, going after two superstars, trying to win a championship, and D'Angelo Russell is also taking that next step. He's going to get the bag. He's going to get a max contract somewhere and become a probable perennial all-star. And I wish him nothing. I think I speak for all Net fans and the Nets organization when I say we wish him nothing but the best, except when he's playing against Brooklyn.
Except. Whenever he comes back to the Brooklyn Buckets there, I'm just going to try to go to that game.
Yeah. He'll get a hero's entrance.
He better get like a standing ovation, similar to the way Brook Lopez got.
Yeah,
he better get that same treatment, if not more. Yeah,
and I'm amazed at how upset, especially Net fans are about the situation right now. Like, you really need to understand what's happening. It's a good problem to have.
It's a good problem to have.
You really need to look at what's happening right now with a wide lens. You don't be so short-sighted on it. Yeah, Kevin Durant's going to have to sit out next year. But when he comes back, he's still going to be probably the best scorer in the league because he never really relied on his athleticism. You could put him out there in a walking boot and he'd score 30 points a game.
Thanks for listening to the Fire and Thunder Sports Podcast. Be sure to like, comment, favorite, and subscribe to Super Adam 66 for more of the podcast, as well as more sports and entertainment content. Also follow on Twitter and Instagram at Grassani6.
4256. Hey, so now that's on there. See you again. That was in tribute to as both of us Nets fans, to our homegrown 23-year-old all-star. Kind of home, but he's our guy, D'Angelo Russell. That song was dedicated to it. That song was dedicated for you. Thank you for everything you've done in your really short. It's just, that's the thing.
It feels so much longer than it actually was.
It feels so much longer. It's a shame they had the end so soon, but we thank you for everything you've done for the Brooklyn Nets franchise. Like, when Sean Marks has preached, continuity, culture, like everything that led to this rise of the Brooklyn Nets, he has, he has represented all those attributes and then some. He's been as great of a leader, has been a great assistant for the Nets as you can really ask for. He's represented everything the Nets he's embodied everything, leadership, representing Brooklyn well, like player development, the way he developed the All-Star Day he did, becoming like one of the probably one of the best things to happen to the franchise in a long time, along with Sean Marks. So D'Angelo Russell, we thank, as Nets fans, we thank you for everything. I'm still gonna wear your your jersey. I'm still going to support you, obviously, when you're not playing in this, but thank you for everything you've done, and we wish you the best of luck wherever you go next, wherever he signs, because he's officially going to be unrestricted free agent. If the Nets, decide to not sign and trade him.
Couldn't have said it better myself. Could not have said it better myself.
Let me put you on spot here. Where do you think he's going to go?
I think there's a couple nice spots for him that he could land. Personally, I think the best spot for him would be Indiana.
Indiana, really?
I would love to see him and Victor Oladipo in that backcourt together.
I just think he could go to Timberwolves. Him and Karl Anthony Towns. I think that would be a deadly duo.
Yeah, I'm not a huge Timberwolves fan. I agree with a lot of what Jimmy Butler said when he wanted to be traded out of there. I don't think they have a good culture. I think Andrew Wiggins is the epitome of everything that's wrong there, because Andrew Wiggins could have been a star small forward, and he's done really nothing, honestly. And he hasn't really developed any of his potential. So it would be cool to see him and Karl Towns. I would rather see him in a spot like Indiana. I know Orlando was looking at him, and
there's gonna be a huge
market.
Yeah, there's gonna be a huge market for him. To the point where I think he's gonna get max. Like
he should. He should.
He should. Technically, you could say always non-max player, but with the amount of competition that they're gonna be to get like a guy who has to reach his ceiling at, like D'Angelo hasn't even scratched the surface.
He's 23, right?
He's 23. He's 20. So he hasn't even scratched the surface of his, potential. So there's gonna be a lot of teams that are gonna be, really dying to, get him. And that means giving him a max. You know what? They'll take the risk.
Another spot I think would be cool to see him land. Well, technically two spots. Los Angeles.
Oh,
either the Clippers or the Lakers. That would be fun to see.
That would be fun. Imagine him going back to the Lakers. Oh my God, what kind of storyline would that be?
Well, because my thing has always been, I'm a Net fan first, obviously, and I want them to win no matter what. If the Nets aren't in it, when the Nets are out, I want to see LeBron James win.
Yeah.
He's the greatest player of my generation, and I want him to win because I feel like he doesn't really get, or he gets disrespected more than he should because of a finals record that is skewed by some crazy teams that he's had to play. But
he's played some he played the Spurs, like that San Antonio Spurs team. Like that team was just without the better team.
Super underrated team. A lot of people forget how good they really were.
He obviously ran to the Warriors juggernaut like several times. The only real, honestly, and then the Spurs, when his first time in Cleveland, the only real finals loss that you could really blame strictly on him was the one against Dallas.
Yeah, 100%. And I've said that multiple times. That's one of the only blemishes in his entire career, realistically.
But not the biggest one, too. I mean, he was awful in that series.
And there was problems there, and clearly the next season they came out and figured all the issues out. And, I feel like a lot of those final losses, he couldn't really do anything about. So I'd like to see, if the Nets don't win the finals this year, which with Kevin Durant out, if that's who they end up signing.
I don't think the Nets are going to win the finals.
Neither do I. So with that being said, I'd like to see LeBron win another one.
Yeah,
and they're positioned pretty well to do it now.
Him and D'Angelo just holding up the trophy together. That would be a very sweet moment.
And that's another thing I was going to say. To see D'Angelo win one would make me really happy because he deserves it.
He deserves it without a doubt. But we're getting back to the Nets free agency now. Now it's pretty much all but official. Like Nets are going to sign Kyrie, and D'Angelo will be a unrestricted free agent. The rumors that they're going to say they're going to do like a sign and trade. I want to ask, the big question I have with the sign and trade is like they wanted to get to his preferred destination. Like he just signed with his preferred destination and unrestricted free agents. That doesn't make a little sense. And two, if they do sign trade, and if they do sign and trade, like does some of that does that eat up some of their salary space? Like, but by just renouncing him, they'll have the pretty much enough money for Kevin Durant. If they sign and trade him, they might have to take back some salary, which could play a role into them not getting that max slot.
Yeah, no, I trust they wouldn't mess that up. Sean Marks is too smart a guy to mess that up. But I think if they do a sign and trade, it will probably involve more draft capital, like more picks and stuff like that than anything. They actually still have to clear some space, which I think
like what, $1 million?
Yeah, just about. And I don't know how they're going to do that. I don't know how they plan on doing that, but I'm sure they'll figure it out. Yeah. I trust Sean Marks.
I mean, Sean Marks has not given us any reason to doubt him so far. And that's the thing with this whole, switch, the quote unquote getting rid of D'Angelo Russell for Kyrie Irving, like all the stuff. It makes you feel so much more. It makes us feel so much more comfortable that Sean Marks is the one making the decision. Let me ask you this, Jack: if Billy King made this decision, how would you feel?
Oh, I just realized. So the other day,
if Billy King made this decision to get rid of D'Angelo Russell for Kyrie Irving, how would you feel about it? You would not feel as good as you feel right now.
I'm getting sick to my stomach thinking about it. A quick story. I was sitting the other day at my kitchen counter. I realized I was following way too many people on Twitter. So I started going through the people I follow on Twitter. And I realized that I still followed Billy King on Twitter. I've never unfollowed somebody quicker in my whole life. My finger couldn't hit the unfollow button quicker.
Remember back on the day when the Celtics got the first overall pick and everyone just started eyeing Billy King, like blowing his Twitter messages up. Billy King actually started, blocking some people, and there were people saying, "Oh, look, Billy King blocked me." It was hilarious. That's the thing. The Nets actually ended up getting the last laugh in that whole first round pick.
Because now their star player is coming to play for us.
Because there's and guess who was the first overall pick that year? Marco Fultz.
Oh,
imagine if we would have had Marco Fultz over D'Angelo Russell. Just think about that. If we didn't make that Celtics trade, we probably would have had Marco Fultz over D'Angelo Russell. Just think about that. Oh man.
Everybody wants to make it out like Danny Ainge is this genius, but I'm wondering, did the Celtics miss their window? And I know they're bringing in Kemba Walker supposedly at 6:00.
Apparently, Adrian Rojo said that's going to be official.
But have they missed their best opportunity? I think the past two years where they had Kyrie Irving, and they made that trade. I think that was their best window to be a finals team. I don't know if a team with Kemba Walker and that Celtics core that they have losing Al Horford, I don't know if that team, I don't think they're better than the Bucks. I don't think they're better than the Raptors. Well, depending on what Kawhi does.
Depending on what Kawhi does. Do you think they're better than the Nets? Let's say that the Nets just get Kyrie and nobody else. Are they better than the Nets?
I think that's actually a similar comparison. I think those two teams would.
I think if the Nets add let's say whoever Kevin Durant or Tobias Harris, I think that they would thought that would become
exactly
better. Yeah.
That would be.
But if they do sign Kevin Durant, he's a good salary anyway. So who will be better next year? Because then you're gonna have Kevin Durant staying a year. You're gonna have Karis LeVert. You're gonna have Spencer Dinwiddie, Jared Allen. You got that whole core with Kyrie Irving. So I think between that it'll be I think it will without doubt be the Bucks for the Eastern Conference next year. I think it will without doubt be the Bucks will be the first seed, and then it's gonna be wide open. The Celtics could be the 2 seed, Nets could be the 2 seed. You can't rule out Philadelphia. I think it's gonna be those 4 teams battling for the number 4 spot. And it just made me realize with Kemba going to the Celtics, and the Nets probably getting Kyrie Irving and maybe Kevin Durant, and if Kawhi Leonard comes back to Toronto, and then and then who else? Then Philadelphia is just Philadelphia, and they keep Jimmy Butler. The Knicks are gonna be awful.
I think
they're gonna be the whipping boy of the Atlantic Division. What the Miami Marlins are right now, they're gonna be that.
I think the Sixers might be another team that kind of might miss their window, depending on what they do this offseason.
I don't think they missed their window because of Ben Simmons and Joel Embiid, they're still so young.
Yeah, but with your point about the Knicks, I think it's funny because Knicks fans on Twitter, their narrative has changed so quickly. Oh
my God!
They talked the whole season about how they're gonna win the lottery, they're gonna sign KD and Kyrie, and then they're gonna pick Zion. And how it's turned out is they lost the lottery, didn't get Zion. Now Kyrie's coming to the Nets, and KD is probably right behind him. And it's funny because now the narrative has changed from those are their guys and that's who they're going to get to, oh, well, we didn't need Zion anyway. RJ Barrett's going to be the better pro, and Kyrie's a bad leader, and Kevin Durant is injury prone, and we don't even want him.
They flip-flop faster than, it's a similar situation too? Back during the NFL draft, me and John, a lot of John says wanted Dwayne Haskins, then he took Daniel Jones. Literally a week later, I was saying Daniel Jones is better than Dwayne Haskins. Dave Jones is a genius. It's like, You see how fast New York fans
It's so
just
funny.
flip-flop. I mean,
It's so funny. I never bought into that whole New York fans and New York media is tougher than the rest of the country. It's 100% true. I'll tell you that right now. This year, I have realized that narrative is 100%. Think about it this way: if the Mets played in Minnesota or like Oklahoma, you wouldn't hear a word. Nobody would even care.
Because they play in New York.
But since they play in New York, they're the worst team in MLB history, and they should be sent back down to like Division III college. They should play in the NJAC. They should be relegated to the NJAC and play.
They should be relegated to a Canadian League where the Jackals play. But getting back to what we were saying earlier, and we're talking about NBA free agency. And the thing that I want to pivot to right now is obviously the Nets and their chances of getting Kevin Durant, because right now, I think that has to be the Nets plan, because as I mentioned earlier, all the concerns on Kyrie Irving as your number one, all this drama about, can Kyrie Irving be a leader? Can he be the best player of the championship team? All this, that's making the same mistake that the Celtics did. They're killing their culture. All of those narratives go right out the window if Kevin Durant signs. Now, it was reported that now Vegas right now has Nets as the even favorites to land, Kevin Durant, which whenever Vegas, is, I think you can agree, Jack, whenever Vegas, has you as a favorite for something, you gotta feel good about it, because Vegas is usually, really spot on with stuff.
The house never loses.
The house,
that's what they say.
The house never loses, but, AJ Rosowski had a report, I believe yesterday, I was listening to Evan Robertson, and he mentioned it because, Evan Robertson said yesterday on his show about when discussing all these rumors about Adrian Rosowski's, everyone's speculating about all these rumors. Woj doesn't speculate. He investigates.
Yeah. When Woj says something, it's true. There's no question.
Now, that's the thing. Woj has recently come out and said that Kevin Durant and Kawhi Leonard has reported, discussing, teaming up, which is, I find that to be very interesting for a couple of reasons. Number one, the stigma surrounding Kevin Durant has always been, we went to a ready-made championship team. We joined a super uber team. I think one of his goals in this free agency is to go to a destination where he is without a doubt, the number one man. I think without a doubt between him and Steph Curry, Kevin Durant is without a doubt the better player, but it's not a huge gap. It's not as big of a gap as it would be between Kevin Durant, let's say a Kyrie Irving or a Kemba Walker, or just understanding examples. If him and Kawhi Leonard, who I think you can make the argument right now, the two best players in the world, go to, let's say, the Knicks or the Clippers, and they have to team up, it's gonna be the exact same narrative all over again. But maybe Kevin Durant could do it, but I don't really see him doing that. The bigger shock to me was that Kawhi Leonard was doing this. I don't think this is in Kawhi's personality at all. He's always known as the dynasty killer. He killed the Heat dynasty. He inadvertently killed the Spurs dynasty. He killed the Warrior dynasty. To team up with another superstar like this, I don't think it's in Kawhi Leonard's personality at all. Obviously you have to trust Woj in his reporting, but when I just found out this report, Jack, I find this very kind of hard to believe.
Yeah, and you made a great point about how Kawhi Leonard is the dynasty buster, and somebody also made a good point yesterday that said, if you had a job and there was a chance to make it easier, would you do it? Would you rather work with bad employees rather than good coworkers? Which I think was a very good point and a way that I haven't really thought about it at all. Can you blame these guys for wanting to play with other superstars? I mean, anybody in their situation would do the same thing. But Kawhi Leonard, like you said, is not a normal guy, and therefore, I don't know if I could see that happening. I mean, who knows?
I believe Woj said on SportsCenter that right now it's just something that he's that's not something substantial. It's just something that he's speculating. I believe.
Yeah, and
but then again,
I'm sure they talked about it. I'm sure they had a conversation about it because. Who wouldn't? If me and you were two of the best basketball players in the league, I'd talk to you about playing with you too. But
without a doubt, I'm pretty sure we actually would team up.
Exactly. There's a difference between talking about it and then actually going out and doing it.
Yes.
And so I don't think that's going to end up happening.
Man, I think right now it's just whispers, so we'll see ultimately how legitimate they are. But if it ends up happening, I would be surprised. I would be shocked because it's coming from Woj, but I would be surprised.
Yeah, and if that did happen, it's over.
It's over.
Whatever team, if they ended up with the Clippers, oh boy, the rest of the NBA is in for a few
if they
tough
end
years.
up with the Knicks, I might have to just stop watching the NBA for the next couple of years because
they won't. Don't worry, they will not. I can assure you that will not happen.
You're assuring right now on the air.
I'm
right?
assuring,
Right.
and you could
double
clip
down right
that.
now. Double down
clip
right
that.
now.
Take a recording of it if you want. Pull your notes out right now. I'll say it again. I'll give you 10 seconds to pull out your recording device on your iPhone. You can totally
Joe
bring
Lappy,
this
tune in
back.
right now. Joe Lappy, listen to this.
Anybody who wants to bring this back and use it against me, if Kawhi Leonard and Kevin Durant sign with the New York Knicks, please, by all means, roast me. At me on Twitter. Put the video up. Bring up my cold take. Kevin Durant and Kawhi Leonard are not going to the New York Knicks. And not only are both of them not going, neither of them are going. I don't know if anybody's going to go there.
Why would anyone go to the Knicks? I mean, really?
They're going to end up...
I've seen so many Knicks fans just act cocky and arrogant. Like, why would anyone go to the Nets? Like, they're last in attendance. They have no fans. The Knicks, Madison Square Garden, they're the more relevant franchise. Number one, wherever Kyrie Irving and Kevin Durant go, that team's going to become immediately relevant. If Kevin Durant and Kyrie went to, let's say, the Memphis Grizzlies, they all of a sudden get, like, 10, national televised games by default. So, I don't think that's going to be an issue for them. Number two, the Nets have a more structured environment. They prove to be a more stable organization. They prove that the front office knows what they're doing. They have a great culture there. They're a better basketball team right now. Like, let's just say, subtract the injuries from the Nets, Jack. Subtract the injuries from the Nets. Who's better, the Nets or the Knicks?
I still think the Nets are.
Without a doubt. I don't think it's even really a debate. So they would join the better basketball team with a better head coach. I have no disrespect towards David Fizdale.
Yeah, I like Fizdale.
Fizdale, but I'm actually prefer Kenny Atkinson. I mean, Sean Marks is now probably one of, if not the best general managers in the league. The Nets have the better culture. They have an amazing practice facility. Players love to live in Brooklyn. So those who are saying, "Oh, why the Nets say at geography free agency destination?" There, I answered your question right there.
Yeah, exactly.
Why would anyone go to the Knicks to play Madison Square Garden? That's about it.
That is literally all they have to sell is Madison Square Garden.
And to be the Mark Messier of the Knicks, the player kind of come to the Knicks and slay the Dragon, win them a championship. But
they'll get someone eventually. Somebody will end up being that guy eventually, and maybe it'll be R.J. Barrett. Who knows?
Hopefully the Knicks fans actually will be R.J. Barrett, but is that gonna be Kevin Durant or Kawhi Leonard? I don't think so.
No, I totally agree with you there. I don't think any of those marquee free agents are ending up as a New York Knick. This offseason. This offseason at least. Maybe next offseason things will be different, but I don't see anything happening in the Knicks' favor this offseason.
So yeah, for the Knicks fans, they're gonna have to punt forward to 2020, whatever. Like, if you're the Knicks right now,
sign all 1-year deals. Nobody's coming back.
Here's what the Knicks should do. Knicks should do what the Nets did with what the Hawks did with Donald Crabbe. Take on bad contracts, get some draft picks, and try to build through the draft. Do it the traditional way. Do it the way the Nets did. The Nets, they took on they developed Spencer Dinwiddie, they developed Joe Harris, and they drafted Karis LeVert, and they drafted Jared Allen, and they drafted Rodell Cougs. That's what the Knicks have to do right now.
Yeah, and hope that R.J. Barrett becomes the guy that people say he's going to.
I mean, we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens to R.J. Barrett. I mean, personally, my opinion on R.J. Barrett is I like him. I wasn't in love with him. I was listening to WFAN, and a Knicks fan was on there. I forget who it was, but he mentioned the fact that everyone was saying it was a 3-player draft. He said it was only a 2-player draft between Zion and John Morant, because he mentioned with R.J. Barrett is that what is R.J. Barrett's defining trait as a basketball player? What is something that he's amazing at or great at.
His offense's shooting would probably be like the main thing.
Yeah, probably. But is this something that is really like otherworldly, like Zion's athleticism or John Morant's?
Yeah. I read that same thing, and it's a great point. I think R.J. Barrett will be a good NBA player.
I think he'll at least be good.
I think his floor is being like a solid NBA player.
Kind of like a Dinwiddie right now. I think.
Yeah, okay, that's a fair, like a solid, could be a starter for a bunch of teams in the league, but also could be a sixth man for a handful of teams.
Yeah, I think that's going to be R.J. Barrett too. But getting back to the Nets, and I want to talk about like how the Nets offense can structure if they complete this whole vision of bringing Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving and this whole infrastructure. And I think another reason why I think the Nets make perfect sense from Kevin Durant, he's going to be playing a very similar offense that would be in Golden State, because that's the thing. The Nets, I remember reading an article back in 2016 is that the Nets and the Warriors in that year, they were both the first place and last place teams. They were both the first place, the best teams, and the worst teams in the NBA. But they were so similar because of how they played. Using ball movement, shooting the three-pointer, like attacking the rim, doing all those things.
No mid-range. The mid-range jump shot does not exist to Kenny Atkinson.
Unless you're D'Angelo Russell.
Unless you're D'Angelo.
Like Kenny Atkinson always said that he made an exception for D'Angelo Russell because that's something that D'Angelo Russell thrived on. But get back to what I was saying earlier, like, and if Kevin Durant comes there, he's gonna play kind of like. They're going to be very similar roles that he had with from the Warriors to the Nets, because they're just hear us out, Jack. I mean, Kevin Durant, he goes to the Nets. He's obviously Kevin Durant. Kyrie Irving kind of becomes your Steph Curry, and then
you got to hope LeVert becomes...
and then you can LeVert can be kind of like that Klay Thompson role, that solid that great defender. That who can score in the best. The only difference between the two is that LeVert's more of a slasher while and attacks the rim, whereas Klay Thompson is more of like a shooter. But kind of like those similar roles, like Karis LeVert to Klay Thompson.
It's a solid. I see the connections, and I think Karis LeVert is a guy who has really flown under the radar. If you remember in the playoffs, he was
the best player in the playoffs.
He was the best player in that entire series for either team, I feel like.
Oh, really?
I mean, when he was playing, you remember there was one point during, I think it was Game 4, where he was the only guy scoring the basketball for the Nets. I think he was the only person for the Nets who really had a positive series. Overall. I think everybody had solid points, but LeVert was the only one who consistently played well the whole series. And he was the guy who, before he got injured early in the season, he was an all-star.
Earlier in the season. Like, he was on track to be all-star, but then he got injured, and then D'Angelo Russell ultimately took over.
And who knows the step that he's going to take. If you can bring in Kevin Durant, if Kyrie Irving is the only guy you get, Karis LeVert is a guy who's considered around the league to be, and I put air quotes around this, don't think that, I think that they're the same exact player, but he is considered to be baby Durant.
Yeah, that's what his teammates called him in college. So if Karis LeVert can, play the way he did in the playoffs and played at the beginning of the season, like throughout the entire year, that's going to be an unbelievable boost for the Nets. Because then you're going to have Kyrie Irving, who's obviously your facilitator. You have Karis LeVert with him. That immediately becomes a top 3 or top 2 backcourt in the NBA. And you combine that with Kevin Durant. If Kevin Durant could become 90% of what he was, that core right there could be a championship team. Easily.
Yeah.
So
I'm really excited to see what Karis LeVert turns into. I'm chomping at the bit to see him.
Apparently, I've heard rumors that apparently some people in this organization were higher on Karis LeVert than D'Angelo Russell. I just want to respond to that by saying because I've had a lot of Nets fans at me on that saying LeVert's better than Russell because some people in the Nets organization are higher than him. I just want to say this: a lot of people in the Yankees organization were higher on Greg Bird than Aaron Judge. Let me just say that.
No, I think that's completely. I agree with whoever says that I think the Nets should be higher on Karis LeVert than D'Angelo Russell.
Really?
I think Karis LeVert can be a superstar. If
Really?
he has to stay healthy though,
I mean,
which
if
is
he
the
stays
one
healthy,
thing
I mean.
that would concern you. But if he can stay
Right
healthy,
now, I think
look at what he.
the better player.
Look at what he. Oh yeah, right now. Just because you haven't seen enough out of Karis LeVert, but look at what he was doing before he got hurt last year. He was seriously, single-handedly winning games from that. He was playing spectacular basketball. And then obviously the injury comes, and it takes some time to get back to where he was at. But I would love to see a full season of him healthy.
Yeah, it's gonna be a big season for Karis LeVert now next season. But I want to get into another player who's gonna have a big year for this, and maybe even might be needed more than Karis LeVert, and that is Jared Allen, because Jared Allen this season, it was another step in his development. He's obviously a great blocker, like obviously blocking LeBron James, James Harden, all those guys. But I think he needs to take that next step in his development too, and become officially one of the better centers in the NBA. Because that's what the Nets view now. The Nets view Jared Allen as a future top 10, possibly top 5 center in the NBA with his defense and his blocking and his rebounding ability. He needs to be that kind of like defensive anchor in the middle, that kind of big time presence in the middle. Because if you remember in that 76ers series, he got bodied by Joel Embiid.
Yeah, no doubt. And they need to, and that's another thing, is a guy who they were talking about bringing in with Kyrie Irving and potentially Kevin Durant is DeAndre Jordan.
DeAndre Jordan, yeah.
Which I think would be a tremendous help. Because, not only as a mentor for Jared Allen, but just the physicality that he would bring down low would be a huge help, and he could fill a huge role.
The only question I would have then is that if you do bring DeAndre Jordan, how are you splitting minutes between him and Jared Allen? That's the only question.
They would figure it out. I think that Allen would end up starting, and Jordan would be one of your first guys off the bench.
Yeah,
he'd probably Dinwiddie would be the sixth man, and DeAndre Jordan would probably be your seventh man.
I think if the Nets wanted to go big, they could easily have DeAndre Jordan in the middle and slide Jared Allen to the 4th spot if they wanted to go big. So it gives KX a lot more a lot more flexibility throughout his rotations and stuff. And I want to say this before we officially stop talking NBA and then finally end up going to baseball. And I just want to throw this, is that by bringing Kyrie Irving, I personally have really big expectations for Kyrie Irving, and it's not just something really objective. It's just more personally for me, because over throughout the season, I just fell in love with D'Angelo Russell. He easily became my favorite net. I bought his jersey as soon as had the money for it. So I remember going to the basketball court, kind of taking mid-range shots, doing things I've never really done before, because trying to be that mid-range specialist, because that's what D'Angelo Russell did. He had it was something personal with me, the kind of season he had, and then to see it just go out the door with and then bringing Kyrie Irving, who's a the better player, but Kyrie Irving needs to right now Kyrie Irving needs to be without a doubt the better player. He needs to he needs to come in, just before he needs to have his chip on his shoulder. He needs to do that and take his game to kind of that next level. Because even if Kevin Durant does sign at the Nets and he ends up coming back, I think we can agree there's no guarantee it's gonna be 100%. Because if Kevin Durant comes back and he's not 100%, Kyrie Irving's gonna need to take a bigger role. He's gonna He's gonna need to score 25 points. He's gonna need to average 7 assists. Kind of be like that. Kind of be a better distributor of the basketball. Make teams around him better. Make Karis LeVert better. Make Jared Allen. That was one of the things. D'Angelo Russell. If there's one Jack, I think if there's one thing that D'Angelo Russell is better than Kyrie Irving at right now, it's passing and distributing the basketball.
I could see.
Because last year D'Angelo Russell averaged 7 assists in this season. Kyrie Irving's never averaged 7 assists in his career. The closest he ever came was this past year with 6.9.
Yeah, that's a solid. I would agree with you there.
Yes,
and I didn't even realize how young Kyrie Irving. I thought Kyrie Irving was 28, 29. He's 27, and he won't be 28 until March.
He won't be 28. Oh wow! So he's still relatively young. So
yeah,
there's still a little bit of room for him to grow.
People have.
Who knows? Maybe Kyrie Irving could become the next Steph Curry. Who knows? Maybe he experiences this upcoming season, that type of a breakout year. I mean, who knows?
This is what is considered your prime, 27 to 29 years old is really your athletic prime.
We're gonna be getting the best years of Kyrie Irving, which I said before. By doing that, by letting go of D'Angelo Russell for Kyrie Irving and getting him in his best years, these next 4 years are a Nets window.
Yeah.
They're going all in on these next 4 years, and it's a risky move by Sean Marks because, let's say worst case scenario, Kyrie Irving hates it in Brooklyn. It's Boston 2.0 again. He ends up wanting out. Kevin Durant doesn't sign here. Then you end up like the franchise that ends up becoming like back where it was in 2016, 2017. That's the kind of season. The franchise is back where they were in that year. So it's a risky move on Sean Marks' part, but I think it's a risk you have to take. You right now, by bringing Kyrie Irving and free up that cap space for Ace by renouncing D'Angelo Russell, you have the cap space to go ahead and get there and get Kevin Durant. So plan A right now is getting Kevin Durant and signing him to that max deal. And if you do that again, we'll be throwing a parade. But if it doesn't, then you have to sell on somebody like Tobias Harris. I think Plan B is gonna be Kyrie Irving, giving Kyrie Irving another go with as being to try to prove he's the man. They're gonna be trying to do what Boston did all over again, which is a risky move, but let's have more stability than Boston. They have a better culture than Boston. Kyrie Irving wants to be here, so I think we'll have to trust Sean Marks and that he knows what he knows what he doing. Because that's the thing. There's one more point I wanted to mention to you is that what he's doing right now is doing a complete 180 on what he's doing in years prior. Because years prior, Sean Marks always preached continuity, culture, player development, keeping your own guys. That's the thing. Sean Marks has said there's going to the offseason, there's something to be said about keeping your own guys. Now they're essentially getting rid of your guy to bring in other guy, and that right now is doing. And that's doing a complete 180 on everything you're doing. That's going all in on these next 4 years. Sean Marks has always been a patient guy, wait and see type of guy. By this offseason, he is officially declared he is all in on these next couple of years, which I think takes a lot of confidence for him to do that.
And with that point, you said how his theory has been keeping your own guys, and that I think that a lot of people have lost sight. He's still doing that. Even though D'Angelo Russell is going, he's still...
D'Angelo is as close to your guys you can get.
Yeah, but I believe there's 5 players that are on the Nets roster right now. 4 of them were on the team last year, and one of them is Taurean Prince, who I think is going to fit.
I really like Taurean Prince. Yeah.
I think he'll fit right into Kenny Atkinson's theories. I think he's going to be a great fit.
The Nets small forward. I think he fits right into the 3 spot.
I think he's going to become what DeMar Carroll was for us. And DeMar Carroll, another guy, is going to be sad to see him leave. Yeah. He played a great season for us, and he did everything.
Get DeMar Carroll. Ed Davis, man.
Yeah, I still hope we could find a way to bring him back. I don't think the money will work out, but he's going to be a tough loss. No doubt about that.
I mean, we'll see what happens to Jared Dudley. I remember listening to this one YouTuber, Nets Boy on YouTube. I highly recommend you look him up. He does a lot of great Nets videos. Know what free agent signing he said the Nets should bring on? Vince Carter.
That would be a great pairing. And this would probably be Vince Carter's farewell tour.
This would be his farewell tour. He obviously was a Nets legend, back during the Jason Kidd days. To bring him back, be that veteran mentor to the younger guys, kind of be like that presence to Kyrie, to kind of be that presence to Kyrie Irving, be that mentor for Karis LeVert and Spencer Dinwiddie, all those guys, to kind of be that Jared Dudley role. And his farewell tour for a Nets, icon to come back and play that kind of role, I think would be really special.
Yeah, no, that would be great. I heard that same thing yesterday too. That would be the perfect pairing for some veteran leadership. Bring him back in, have some more winning days with the Nets. That would be really
he'll come
fun.
off the bench and play 15 minutes a game. He'll score 6-7 points a game, but he'll be a solid presence on the bench. So I think we're pretty much done. Anything else you wanted to throw out there regarding the Nets and NBA free agency?
If I could say one thing to Net fans, it's a time to be excited. Don't get caught up in, who you're letting go and who you're bringing in. Just think about the situation that the Brooklyn Nets are in right now and think about where they were 2 years ago.
Exactly.
And enjoy this. This is what teams want. if you can't have a better problem than the situation the Nets are in now.
A few years ago we were debating between Jeremy Lin and Spencer Dinwiddie. Now we're debating between D'Angelo Russell and Kyrie Irving.
Who's going to be our starting shooting guard? C.J. Watson or Sean Kilpatrick? And now we're talking about Kyrie Irving versus D'Angelo Russell and maybe bringing in Kevin Durant. So just whatever it is, enjoy it because you have legitimate superstars willing and ready in 6.5 hours to sign to your team. So enjoy it.
So we'll see what happens to Kevin Durant. I think we'll know by the time we do our next show. I think Jack, by the time you do. I mean, not your next show tomorrow, but I believe the show after that. I think we'll know where Kevin Durant is going. So if it's coming to Brooklyn, I'll probably pop on your show and we'll throw a party. So
definitely,
we'll see what happens to Kevin Durant, and hopefully Kevin Durant ends up coming to the Brooklyn Nets, and we'll see what happens. I will say my one message to Nets fans is that let's say to all the Nets fans who are unhappy about letting D'Angelo Russell go for Kyrie Irving, and I will say you do have your. I won't say I completely agree with you. I think they do have a valid point, but just trust Sean Marks. Sean Marks has not given us any reason to down him yet, and I think I have full trust in him that he actually knows what he's doing, and that's the thing. I think you mentioned this earlier, Jack, when we were texting. I do not think Sean Marks would just let D'Angelo Russell go if he wasn't confident that Kevin Durant was coming.
Exactly. And that's the biggest thing to me is Sean Marks seems to have a pretty good feel for what's happening around him. And I think his plan this whole offseason was KD and Kyrie or keep D'Angelo Russell and pair him with a guy like Tobias Harris or Julius Randle or someone like that.
Because that was the thing. There were reports flowing out from the Post saying that the Nets didn't want Kyrie Irving as the sole.
Yeah.
At that point, if they knew Kevin Durant wasn't coming, they'll just stick with D'Angelo Russell. So to actually get rid of D'Angelo Russell for Kyrie Irving, it shows that they really feel confident that they're going to land Durant. Which, hey,
we'll see.
They're the favorites right now. So we'll see. We'll end up seeing what happens. So
thanks for listening to the Fire and Thunder Sports Podcast. Be sure to like, comment, favorite, and subscribe to Super Adam 66 for more of the podcast, as well as more sports and entertainment content. Also follow on Twitter and Instagram at Grassani6.
So we stepped away from NBA finally. We gave our thoughts on this. Now I gotta give my thoughts on Jack Barteck's New York Mets, which let's just say have been struggling as of late. I believe they've lost 8 straight. They've lost 7 in a row.
2-8 in their last
the bullpen
10.
has been terrible. Edwin Diaz has been atrocious, and above all, it's just the big story is that Mickey Calaway and Jason Vargas, I believe, ended up confronting a reporter. I believe what was his name?
Tim Healy.
Todd Healy from Newsday. Apparently, he said, see you tomorrow, kind of like a sarcastic tone. Mickey Calaway took exception to that. He ended up charging, the reporter, and Jason Vargas ended up charging him as well, and they had to be ultimately held back by the staff. And I just want to give my opinion on this. Is that if you don't like what the Tom Hagen, I forgot his name again.
Todd Healy.
If you don't like what Healy said, fine. I mean, players, they disagree with the media, all the time. It is not a rare occurrence at all. In fact, you could argue it's kind of I listened to Jack Curry said that he ended up who back when he was at the New York Times, he ended up getting into altercations with reporters, basically just things that players took exception to. So confrontation reporters are nothing new. Look at what happened to Clint Frazier. I mean, so it's not just that, but when you go that far where you threaten to punch a guy or charge a guy, you have crossed the line. That's not just verbal violence. That's physical violence. That is threatening to hurt. That's threatening to hurt someone. That's just unacceptable on Mickey Calaway's part. That is unacceptable on Jason Vargas' part. And like I said, Mickey Calaway, I was lukewarm on him for a longest time. I wanted to give him the benefit of the doubt. With last year banning out of order, now this and the way he's managed this bullpen, he has got to go. I mean, he's proven right now that he's not the right man to run this team. He's not the right man to run the New York Mets. They need to make a change. They need to gain someone. Maybe Mickey Calaway could go somewhere else in manage, but he is just not fit. He's just not a fit right now with the New York Mets. I mean, everything, and I just want to while I do give Mickey Calaway a lot of the blame, I just want to expand on this. I think Brody Van Wagenen deserves a lot of the blame as well, and the Wilpons, because let's look back at this offseason. The Mets decided to go. It was offseason where the Mets, everyone knew they had to rebuild. Everyone. I said it, like many other people said it. It was time for the Mets, to start getting young, start rebuilding, start developing the young players, start developing Pete Alonso, start focus on developing Mike Conforto, like focus on developing this young core, kind of what the Yankees did, in 2016, kind of take that route. Instead, they decided to go all in. They made the Cano and Diaz trade, which is right now starting to look like it could be one of the worst trades in Mets history. If who was that guy that they traded away?
No, I disagree. Jared Kelenic, I still disagree.
If he goes on to become, we'll get into that later, but if he goes on to become, a big time player, that trade's gonna look awfully bad. And all the other moves that make it outweighs. Wilson Ramos has been okay, but he has not been great defensively. Robson Cano's not hitting. The bullpen has been atrocious. It's just this is what happened. And Brody Van Wagenen, I said when they hired us that what's this guy done to really earn a job in the major leagues? There were so many more candidates they could have. I said they hired Jacob deGrom's former agent, which put them in an awkward situation where they ultimately had to give Jacob deGrom a contract extension, even though he had 2 years left. They could have waited a year. Instead, they put him in an awkward situation where Brody Van Wagenen had to ultimately gotten the deal done. He would have looked like a complete fraud if he ultimately didn't get the deal done. So that ultimately created this whole atmosphere. The Mets could have go this whole offseason. The Wilpons could have made this offseason, could have did a complete 180, ultimately do the right thing and start the rebuild. Send a message to the fans, kind of like what the Rangers did. They sent a letter to their season ticket holders saying, hey, we're going to try to rebuild. We're not going to contend for a championship anymore. We're going to try to rebuild this thing the right way. And I think Rangers fans have ultimately gone on board with that. They understand. Instead, Brody Van Wagenen's tried to contend right away. He made a bunch of win now moves, and he ultimately said, Ed, come get us. Look what the Rangers did. Look what the Rangers did with Calaway when they drafted him. They said to their fans, yo, he's 18 years old. Don't expect a lot from him. What are the Mets doing? They're trying to hype themselves up for they're trying to hype themselves up for no reason. It's just a mess right now with the Mets. And the Mets, when they hired the Mets, what I'm saying is the Mets this offseason, they could have hire someone other than Brody and start to construct this rebuild, start to officially rebuild. Instead, Brody Van Wagenen told them they could win now. The Wilpons bought into it, and they let Brody Van Wagenen make a bump win. Which, by the way, Wilpons, you didn't even do that right because you had financial restrictions, which you always do on certain moves that Brody Van Wagenen wanted to make. Jack, you mentioned this before, that there are certain moves that Brody wanted to make, but the Wilpons said no because of the money.
And yeah, so is that everything you have? Because
that's all.
Okay.
I'm done.
So I'll start out by saying, one, the Wilpons are the worst owners in baseball. Some of the worst owners in sports, honestly.
Who's worse, Dolan or the Wilpons?
The Wilpons.
Oh,
who's worse? The Wilpons are so bad. It's actually hard to believe how consistently bad they've been for years. And so that's number one. That's the number one issue, is that the Wilpons are the worst in sport. You can't get worse than them. So that's the first issue. They're not willing to spend money, so it's tough to get your guys when it's kind of like if a guy is at the mall with his wife, and his wife wants to buy things, but the husband is holding the purse. How could she buy things if you don't let her have her purse? You tell her to go out there and get a nice outfit for dinner later, but then you hold on to her purse and don't give her wallet to buy things. Yeah. It's like the Wilpons told Brody they want to contend, but then wouldn't let him go out and get the people he wanted to get.
Exactly.
And I have to disagree with you on one of the things you said, and that was blaming Brody for trying to be win now. And this is a conversation we had over the break. I don't think the Mets are that far off from being a team that could win now. Look at the lineup. The lineup has been awesome. They're putting up 5 to 6 runs a game almost every night. Alonso has been an MVP caliber player so far.
Alonso's been amazing.
I don't think that's outrageous to say he's been MVP caliber in the first half.
He would be MVP. He might actually be an MVP caliber player this year. There's only one problem with that: Cody Bellinger.
Yeah, but MVP in a year where Cody Bellinger wasn't playing like on a different planet, then he would be MVP caliber.
Yeah.
And the fact that he's not an all-star team is absolutely disgraceful.
We're going to rant about that. We're going to rant about that.
So, I don't think the lineup has been... a playoff team. Jeff McNeil has been awesome, and I cannot wait to see him be a Met for life because he is so much fun to watch.
Oh,
And
I love watching
it doesn't matter where you put him in the field, in the lineup, he just produces. Like, the guy is a baseball player through and through. And there's guys who, make it to the big leagues because they could hit the ball really far and they become superstars because they can hit home runs or they're fast, they play great defense. Jeff McNeil is a 5-tool guy. And he can really do it all. And I've been so impressed with him so far this year. And I just hope he can stay healthy because he is awesome. So those two guys at the top, I think they've both been easily all-star caliber players. Conforto, I think, has also been really good.
Conforto's been really good.
Rosario hasn't been playing bad. The team has been in a little bit of a state of flux with injuries, so it's tough. Even Todd Frazier hasn't really been bad. I got on him a lot early in the season, and he has really come around. And he heated up for a long stretch there in the middle of what the Mets have played so far, and he's turned out to be pretty decent for the Mets this year. I think J.D. Davis. That's a trade that really went under the radar. I think that was a great move by Brodie Van Wagenen, going and picking up J.D. Davis from the Astros. He was one of the Astros' top prospects, but they didn't really need him. They have that stacked infield in Houston. He came up last year, was rushed into the big leagues in September, and he ended up hitting below 200. So they thought that they didn't really need him. They sent him to New York, and he's played pretty well as a Met so far. I think he could be a part of the team moving forward. Wilson Ramos has been what you expect out of Wilson Ramos. You can't really complain about... And Dom Smith has been awesome. Yeah. So you can't really complain about the lineup. I think they've done a nice job. The starting pitching has been...
Okay.
Not what you would have wanted the starting pitching to be, but okay, good enough to win ball games.
One of the reasons the Mets have always thought they could contend was because they still had one of the better starting rotations. Like Wheeler, you have DeGrom, you have Syndergaard, you have Jason Vargas. A lot of people thought that a lot of people think that the Mets could still contend because of their rotation, that they would be the strength. Right now, it hasn't been bad, but it hasn't been a strength.
The lineup has been carrying the pitching. Which is funny because that's the opposite of the way it's been.
If I told you that in the beginning of the season, would you believe
I would have laughed. But then it all comes down to the problem.
Bullpen.
And that's the bullpen. And the problem with the bullpen is, it was arguably poorly constructed. I'll say it wasn't well constructed because it relied on two things. Well, more than two things, but two main things. And that was Familia doing well in the setup role and Edwin Diaz being a lockdown closer, and neither of those things have happened. Clearly, Familia has been a shell of himself. I don't know what has happened to Jeurys Familia, but hopefully he could turn it around because... And that's the thing. That's the reason I don't blame Brodie Van Wagenen, because you look at the moves he made, and who could have predicted that Jeurys Familia was going to have the year that he's having? I don't think anybody could have. And same thing with Edwin Diaz. Who could have foresaw that Edwin Diaz wouldn't be able to get an out in a safe... It makes no sense. But
it makes no sense. And that's the problem right now with the Mets and the bullpen, is why they're the worst owners in baseball. They aren't willing to go out and spend the money.
Oh, yeah.
It's not just players and giving Brodie Van Wagenen the purse, as you would say. It's not just that. It's spending money on their resources as their organization. They don't spend enough money on scouting. You know how many in terms of baseball in the analytics department, the Reds of baseball analytics. You know how many players, how many people are in the analytics department of the Yankees? 20. You know how many analytics people are in the Mets?
Less than 20, I'll
3.
tell you that much, yeah.
3. That speaks all. They aren't willing to spend the money necessary to make sure that the organization has enough resources. They had their AAA affiliate in Las Vegas for the longest time. Why? Because it was cheaper. But now you can't get your players from the AAA to Major League fast enough. But hey, you have to save money. Congratulations, Will Ponce. You saved a bit of money.
And I've said a few times, I think the 2015 World Series run, as fun and enjoyable as it was to watch that, could be one of the worst things to happen to the Mets because it validated the Wilpons. Because whatever their strategy was, they could say, well, it brought us to a World Series in 2015, so we could keep doing it. And it's excusable. But it's not. They are really the worst owners in baseball. And if they really wanted to win now, like they say they do, they would have went out and spent on Craig Kimbrell. They would have went out and opened their pockets more for Adam Ottavino, who, although he said he didn't want to be, in a setup role, and, he said he wanted to be with a different team, if you open your pockets more, he would have been willing to be a Met. I can promise you.
You could have gotten Zach Britton as well.
Could have gotten Zach Britton. And the examples could go on, but the thing is, the Wilpons will say one thing and do another. And that's going to be the main problem for the Mets until they sell the team. And other than that, I don't think they're that far off. I think that they're going to have to end up selling at the deadline, but what do you really have to sell?
You could
Zach Wheeler?
Zach Wheeler, I think. I think if the Mets do not end up selling, Zach Wheeler at the trade deadline, then the Wilpons should be forced to sell the team.
Yeah,
Ron Manfred should step in and just say, hey, ownership revoked. Just do that.
I don't know why it's taking so long.
Another piece I was thinking of, Todd Frazier.
He's
racing now. Like, maybe you could get something back for him. But the Mets right now, they just need to, I don't want to say completely rebuild, but kind of like do what the Yankees did, in 2016. Sell off some of the assets you have.
Yeah.
Try to get, young prospects back and try to, build through your younger players. Build through, Pete Alonso. Build through, Mike Conforto. Start building through those guys and try to get younger is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
And that's the problem though. Like the Mets hired Brody Van Wagen because they wanted to win now. Like, and now all of a sudden you're going to trust them, with the rebuild. It's kind of what the Giants did with Dave Gillen. They hired Dave Gillen because they wanted to try and go into win now mode. Ultimately, it didn't work out, and now they're going into a rebuild. And now you're going to trust the guy who ultimately tried to go into win now mode. Now you're gonna trust him with the rebuild. It doesn't really, make much sense.
Well, the thing is, I don't think that the Mets are as far off as everybody makes it seem. I think it goes back to that whole New York fan base thing where everybody goes crazy over everything, and it makes it seem.
Are they really going crazy though?
Yeah.
Yes. How many more times does Edwin Diaz need to blow a save? How many more times does Robinson Cano need to strike out? How many more times before, we could say, just the Mets, it's time to stop. Just stop trying to, be all... It's not the fact that they're just trying to win. Maybe you're right. Maybe they're not really that far off. I don't think they're really that far off either, but try to just change the vibe within, the organization. That way, people aren't really expecting too much. That's one of the reasons why everyone's freaking out, because the Mets, the Wilpons, they kind of put them on themselves. They said, come guess. They hyped themselves up, and now they're ultimately falling short of expectations. If the Mets decide to, to ultimately retool their roster, I guarantee you no one will be freaking out as much as they are right now.
Yeah, it's just frustrating because they have the potential, and I said it before, the bullpen has 20 blown saves, and if you gave them even a competent bullpen, even an average bullpen, they'd be a first-place team.
Really? First-place team?
Well, I would
say that I take it back because they're in the National League East, so...
Yeah, look at the numbers. They're 13 games back. They have 20 blown saves. So even if you give them the benefit of the doubt and you say they blow 5 saves, they're still 2 games ahead in the NL East.
Real. It's mind blowing. It's
crazy.
Mind blowing how bad the bullpen has been. It's just,
and that's the thing. It doesn't even seem that way. It does not. You would think due to public perception and the way people talk about the Mets, they're the worst team in baseball. 20 blown saves have cost them first place in the NL East. They are 13 games back. They've blown 20 saves. That's 7 game. That's a 7-game lead in the NL East that they have blown. I don't know what more you could ask out of the lineup and the starting pitching.
I mean, it's just it's unreal, man. It's
unfortunate.
It's unfortunate. I mean, I was listening to I said this to you before. Don Recca on the Michael K show pretty much like went on the air and said, he basically renounced his Mets fandom. He said he used to call people who call up to the station say I'm switching, from Mets to Yankees fandom. I'm saying, he would call them frauds and not get all worked up. Now he said, I'm not gonna get worked up about the Mets anymore because when Mets blow a save, I mean, normally you would get mad at it. Like, I think at this point, Mets fans like you basically expect the Mets to blow at this point.
I mean,
you expect them to, you expect the bullpen to, not get the blow a save. You expect the bullpen to, also come out short. It's become numb. That's why Mike Francesa, whenever you see that rant, did you see that Mike Francesa's rant on the Mets bullpen? I'm like, my message to Mike would be like, did you not see it coming? Did you not expect it?
Yeah,
I mean, why are you getting all outraged for? I figured Mets fans would be like, you'd be like numb to this.
Yeah,
I mean, you expect all this stuff already. I mean,
people get so frustrated about it, but I mean, I don't know. I think it's ridiculous to change your fandom, quote unquote. I mean, I'll never stop being a Mets fan, no matter how bad they get.
I mean, his message, I believe, wasn't change your fandom. Just why would you care so much about an organization where it's clear that the owners, the Wilpons, they obviously don't care about you. The Wilpons could give a you-know-what less about their fans. It's obvious at this point. I mean, so why would you support ownership that clearly doesn't give a you-know-what about you? It's just that's basically Don's message. His message was like he would still support the Mets and watch the Mets, but he was gonna support on his owners. Like, don't just like, to all Mets fans out there, don't, build your schedule around, the Mets. Like, if you feel like going out on a date instead of watching a Met game, do it. If you feel like going out with your buddies instead of watching a Met game, do it. Live your own life and, just watch the Mets on your own terms. Don't give your whole life to an ownership that clearly could care less about you. That's my message to the Mets fans.
Yeah, it's been unfortunate. There's not even much to say.
There's not much to say, really.
It's just it's actually hard to believe. So like you like you said, you see it coming. The other day they take a 3-1 lead on the Phillies going into the bottom of the 9th inning. And it was like I saw Edwin Diaz coming into the game and I literally laughed to myself. I literally giggled. And I just said this would be the most Mets thing to blow this lead right now. And that's what it's become. Like you said, I'm just numb to it at this point. Everybody gets so upset about it, but I don't know. I think it's a ridiculous thing to get yourself all worked up. The bullpen's bad, so lower your expectations.
That's the thing. That's the thing I think the Mets need to do right now. Not say just rebuild, quote unquote. It's just I think I can agree. You said they're not that far off, but just the Wilpons just lower their expectations. Get to a point where you're not expecting that. Just don't expect. The Wilpons should go into should send a message to their fans like, don't expect rush hours. We're gonna try develop this young roster and that roster, and we're just gonna go for it. We're gonna continue to develop Pete Alonso, try to add some more young players, and also just go for that. That way, even if they had sent a message to their fans, like kind of what the Rangers did, that hey, we're not gonna try and contend right now. Like, I don't think Mets fans would be as worked up as as they are right now. But since they said the Brody Americans said, come on, said what, come guess. Well, guess what, Brody? They got you.
I don't even think. I mean, people make a big deal about that quote, but I don't know. It comes down to the bullpen, and people like to just make fun of the Mets because they're the Mets, and the same thing happens with the Jets in the NFL. Just because they're the Jets and the Mets, you know what I'm saying? Like the perfect example is when the Jets released their new uniforms, and everybody was making fun of them.
I actually kind of like.
They're pretty nice jerseys, but just because the Jets, everybody had to make jokes about them. it's kind of the same thing with the Mets. They've been so bad for so long that people just like to make jokes about them.
Some of it is justified between two franchises. I mean, I think as a Jets fan, you can agree. There's no defending, firing, Mike O'Callaghan at that time that they did.
No, I can totally defend that. That's
Really?
the right time to fire a general manager. You wouldn't fire your general manager before the draft, after he just did all the preparation for the draft.
No, they should. What I say is they should have fired him as soon as they fired, Ty Bowles. Because if you agree with me, Mike O'Callaghan is like this awful general manager. He doesn't know what he's doing. Why did you let him run your draft and run your free agency?
Well, I don't think that's how they felt about him. I just don't think that they felt that him and Adam Gase were going to mix. And I think that he did a great job in the draft. I shouldn't say great. I think he did a very good job in the draft. And I think he did an amazing job in free agency. You couldn't have asked. Nobody could have done a better job than what he did in the offseason.
That's like everyone's calling out Mike McCaggan. Like, what's the movie that he did wrong? What was the bad movie made this offseason?
Exactly. But if they were going to fire him, that was the time to do it. He got his draft.
It was. I think the thing that rubbed you the wrong way was just it's the fact that you let him. It's the fact that you let Adam Gase, a head coach who hasn't won win a power struggle over the same GM. That was the thing I ranted about. You should have seen my rant about that. It was hilarious.
Mike McCagnon was on his way out though. He had 1 foot out the door, and ownership was just waiting for a reason to get rid of him. And I'm very, as a Jet fan, I'm very excited for this year.
Oh,
and
I'm excited. I will say, in defense of the Jets, the guy that they hired, I really like. Joe Pavelski, I think is his name.
Oh yeah, he used to work with the Eagles, and
a lot of people, I heard, were really high on him. That when that next year, was his last year of his contract, that there was going to be a whole bidding war to get him as a general manager. So,
and you got to give him credit because the numbers weren't matching up at first, and they went out and they gave him the money he wanted. So, I'm really excited.
So we'll see what happens with the Jets and Adam Gase. We'll see what happens with the Mets. We'll see what happens. If they don't sell Zach Wheel at the deadline, then they should be forced to sell a team.
I think that's going to happen.
It's because it's the last year of his contract. Just sell him off. Get something in return for him. Who knows? Maybe you sign him back in free agency.
I was just going to say the same thing.
Could be a Roll Chapman situation.
But I don't think that they're that far off. But
we'll see what happens.
Yeah, I guess it remains to be seen. The only problem is that even when they've sold at the deadline, they haven't done a very good job doing that. So hopefully they can figure something out this year. Because you look at the past couple of years that they've been selling at the deadline, and they haven't really gotten much in return that's been useful for them. Between, Addison Reed, Asdrubal Cabrera, Jerry Familia, they had a lot of pieces to sell, and they haven't really come back with much. So hopefully they could sell and actually get something out of it, this trade deadline.
Thanks for listening to the Fire and Thunder Sports Podcast. Be sure to like, comment, favorite, and subscribe to Super Adam 66 for more of the podcast, as well as more sports and entertainment content. Also follow on Twitter and Instagram at Grassani6.
Did you hear? The 2019 Major League Baseball, All-Star Game stars are out. Let's just go ahead and go through this list one by one. To introduce our first selection, I wanted to play this clip from Evening News on the Michael K Show with Peter Rosenberg and Don Logreca. Boys, take it away.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to ENN, and we mentioned it earlier. We know your 2019 All-Star starters, and the catcher for the American League would be Gary Sanchez.
Well deserved.
God, but Don, doesn't it just seem like yesterday that all the phone calls were coming in, everyone complaining about his motor, he
Trade
can't
him!
catch.
Send him down! Release him! I have a theory, Peter. My theory is that he's not on the 60-day DL, that it's actually a suspension because he didn't hustle to first base.
Jack, was that you who called in? Was that you
No,
right there?
No, that is some conspiracy theory. If you think that the Yankees put him on the DL instead of suspending, and that's you might as well be a flat earther at that point.
you basically worth Kyrie Irving. You'll be worse than Kyrie Irving at that point. But yeah, Gary Sanchez is the American League star catcher, and I think you can't be mad at it. I think
he deserved it. I give him a lot of credit.
Mm-hmm.
And I was somebody who criticized him a lot for what happened last year, and I think you can also agree last year.
I was critical of him last year too. I think what really is impressive with Gary Sanchez is his defensive play, because I think even you agree. I think we could agree. We know he can hit. We actually know he can hit, but defensively, he's taking a major step forward. His block has improved tremendously. Like his block has improved. His defensive play, the players improved, and the fact that he's slugging at this rate, I believe he's leading the American League in home runs. To have that kind of offensive production from a catcher, it just shows you why the Yankees were smart to not give up on him. Double down on Gary Sanchez, because they knew that last year was kind of like a fluke, and now Gary Sanchez, back to his normal ways, and back to remember in 2016 behind the plate he was actually very good, so he's kind of back to his 2016 prime Gary Sanchez forms, and so you gotta give credit to Brian Cashman and company for sticking with him.
Yeah, gotta give him a lot of credit, and no doubt, well deserved. I mean, he was definitely the guy for the spot there, and he's had an awesome year for you guys. So, congratulations.
Right, so congratulations to Gary Sanchez. Moving on to first base, I believe, for the American League is Carlos Santana. A lot of Yankee fans are arguing that it should be Luke Voit. I disagree there. I mean, Luke Voit's having a great season. I think he deserves to be an All-Star. But in terms of who to be a star, I mean, Carlos Santana, I think, is the guy.
Yeah, I think that was the right choice as well.
I mean, anything else to say? I mean, all right. So
Luke Voit has had a good year, but Santana is a stud.
Santana's a stud. I mean, he's one of the few bright things going on right now for the Indians. I mean, really, he's one of the few bright spots going on right now.
They have definitely not had the year that they have expected to have.
Carlos Santana's numbers right away. 291 average, 947 OPS. Without a doubt, deserves to be named a major league All-Star. So, moving on to second base for the New York Yankees. Once again, take it away, Donald the Wreck and Peter Rosenberg.
Second base for the American League, DJ LeMahieu.
Why did they get LeMahieu? They should have gotten Harper or Machado. What are they getting DJ LeMahieu? I never even heard of the guy. He plays a billion positions, but he can't play one because he's not any good.
What is he, French?
He's in Colorado. His numbers are bloated because he's in Colorado. Sign Harper. Sign Machado. Who's this DJ? If I want a DJ, I'd hire one. That's what they were saying.
And now
I just have to. I kind of ran about this during last week's show, Jack. Is that DJ LeMahieu has just been. He's been a god recently. He's been exactly the type of player the Yankees need. He's leading the league in batting average. He has an OPS of like 900. He's played amazing defense. He's the guy that they need. They need an infielder, a Gold Glove infielder who could be kind of like a contact guy, the guy that can come in and hit for over 300 and hit with runners in scoring position. He's saying like what 500 runners in scoring position. I mean, that's insane.
Something like that.
I mean,
and he's having a crazy stretch too. Over I think his last 40 at bats, he's 22 for 40, which is just ridiculous.
I love the sign for day one, and I didn't expect it so, and no lie, I got a lot of flack from Yankee fans, including Joe Lappy, our very own Joe Lappy here at Montclair State, who got me saying, why did they get DJ LeMahieu over Manny Machado? Brian Castro is cheap. Hal Steinberg is cheap. All those guys are cheap. I have made it my mission, Jack Barteck, to go through Twitter messages, search up Twitter, sign up, looking up LeMahieu and Machado, looking at all those Yankee fans who basically threatened to boycott because the Yankees signed DJ LeMahieu, Manny Machado, quote unquote, being cheap, and exposed them for how foolish they were. And,
I mean, any Yankee,
hopefully they can learn from their mistakes.
Any Yankee fan who said that is a casual baseball fan.
Exactly.
I don't know what you're talking. I think me and you both said from day one that this was a great signing by the Yankees.
Exactly.
Filled all the holes they needed.
I preferred LeMahieu over Machado from day one. I said it.
It was a great signing.
It was a great signing. He's been brought in everything, the Yankees. He's brought in, everything. He's done everything the Yankees needed. Manny Machado is just. I've ran into Manny Machado a ton of times. He's my least favorite player in baseball. He's a dirty player. I mean, I've had this rant on the air a bunch of times. I just want to have one more time with you on the air, Jack. So DJ Mayu, All-Star second baseman for the American League. Well deserved. We're moving on to shortstop for the American League. It is Jose Policano.
And I do really quickly, before we move on for second base, want to say, unfortunate for Tommy La Stella because he is also having an incredible year for the Angels,
he is
by
too,
the way.
yeah.
And I think he will end up making the roster, but he's also having a great year. I just want to throw that out there because he did deserve a mention.
All right. So moving on to Jorge Policano of the Twins. Any issue with that?
No, well deserved.
Well
The
deserved,
Twins are playing out of their minds. I don't know where that came from. I don't think anybody could have predicted that. But, a 321 batting average, 11 home runs, 39 RBIs.
OPS of 904. So
Yeah.
he's having an unbelievable year. I mean, I honestly do have a little bit of an issue for it, but that's because I'm
Because
biased.
he finished right before your guy, Gleyber Torres.
Because I've said before, I am a Gleyber Torres stan. He's my favorite player of the Yankees, though. Did I ever tell you that?
Yeah.
He's my favorite player in the Yankees. I love
Rightfully
watching
so.
him.
He's awesome.
Yeah, he's awesome. I mean, he's doing all this at 22 years old, by the way.
Yeah.
He's saying, 290? He says, 19 home runs? I mean, he's going to be, in the future, as soon as he starts to, gets more experience, starts to get a couple years older, he's going to be a special player, man.
Yeah. But this is one of those situations where I think, the Twins had to get some love somewhere because they have played so well and they don't really have that many standout guys, so they needed to get some love there. So I think it's a fair pick.
I have a problem with it all. Again, the only reason I have it is because I'm
Because,
biased. It's completely 100% biased here, folks. So, moving on to third base. I don't think we need to spend too much time on this one. Alex Brager of the Astros.
Stud. That not much more to say.
Stud.
I mean, he in the playoffs last year, he played out of his mind, and he's just carried it over to this year. 22 homers, 52 RBIs. Stud. That's all you can say.
That's all I can say about stud. So, moving on to the outfield. Mike Trout.
I mean,
Again.
the grass is green and the sky is blue, and Mike Trout is an all-star. He's going to be the greatest player of all time by the time he retires.
Really?
In my opinion. I mean, he is
Over Babe
legitimately,
Ruth?
he's the greatest five-tool baseball player of all
without a doubt.
time.
Greatest five-tool baseball. I mean, without doubt. I think it'll end up as one of the all-time. I think it'll end up as one of the all-time greats. It's just they just need to get him a ring. That's all I have to say. They just need to get him a ring.
I pray that he wins a ring because he is so good. If you ever get bored and you're just sitting around doing nothing, you want to occupy yourself, go online and just search up Mike Trout interesting stats. It's actually unbelievable. Do you know he's never in his career gone 3 games in a row without a hit?
What?
Never. He's not once in his career has he gone 3 games in a row without a hit. And the guy's work ethic is incredible. I mean, the knock on him coming into the major leagues was that he wasn't a great fielder. He's come out and become a Gold Glove center fielder.
That's the thing. I remember speaking one time with a scout here from New Jersey at the Monk State Red Rock baseball game. I met a scout there. He actually said himself that he wasn't that high on Trout, but he saw him play in the major leagues. He just was super impressed with how he developed and how much. And he just said to me, it just proves that with hard work and dedication, you can also turn yourself from a kind of a bad defensive player to a great defensive player. Take notes, Clint Frazier.
And I think one of the most interesting things about Mike Trout is that he's doing this. Look at his line: 303 batting average, 63 runs, 22 homers, 56 RBIs in the Angels lineup.
In the Angels lineup, that's the thing.
Well, the only solid players he's really surrounded by are Tommy La Stella this year and Shohei Ohtani, I guess you could say.
Guess, I mean,
but I mean, he's awesome. No doubt about that pick.
So yeah, without a doubt, grass is green. Snow is white, snow is cold. Mike Trout's an all-star. All right, Mike Trout's an all-star. I mean, easy. So moving on to another one of the American League, outfielders. George Springer. I really like this pick.
Yeah. So and
Springer's, really emerged as one of the better, players on the Astros. I mean, really, do the Astros need any more firepower? Let's be honest. Do they need any more firepower?
Exactly.
You got Alex Springer. You got Jose Altuve. Now you get George Springer. 312 batting average, 11 home runs, 45 RBIs, OPS of 0-0. That's ridiculous.
And yeah, not to get ahead of ourselves here, but the next guy, Michael Brantley, on the list is also having a crazy year. So the All-Star team is like the Houston Yankees.
The Houston Yankees are out. They're like, I think right now there are like what, 3? I think right now there are 3 All-Stars, from the Astros.
3 Astros, 2 from the Yankees, and I guarantee there's more coming.
There's more coming. Glaber's definitely gonna get. I think is gonna get in. Luke Voigt, I think will get in. Will Aaron Judge get in?
I think Aaron Judge will make it. He was 4th in voting, so I think he'll make it.
I mean, I'm not sure if I agree with that only because he missed time with injury, but he's played well as of late.
Yeah,
I mean,
but I think they got pretty much everything right in the American League.
I think we don't have anything to disagree with the American League. So we'll quickly wrap up with the American League. Michael Brantley, we touched on that before. I mean, I can't really say anything bad about it. I mean, I like it. I like the selection.
He's hitting 317, 11 homers, 43 RBIs. Can't argue with that.
I mean, yeah, I can't really argue with that. So moving on to last one, the DH for the American League, Hunter Pence.
Just crazy. I never thought I'd see Hunter Pence back in the All-Star game, but he's reinvented himself.
I mean, I remember before, I know it's just about Hunter Pence. Remember back in the 2014 World Series, I saw a couple of minutes of comparing Hunter Pence to Mar from Home Alone. Those made me laugh my stuff. I mean,
that's so funny.
I mean, the fact that Hunter Pence has, really kind of like reinvented himself, it just proves that all the players can, bounce back. Like, I've heard a lot of Yankee fans argue with me about Madison Bumgarner. Apparently, he's not the same player. Madison Bumgarner is 29. He can still rebound. He can still, rebound. Absolutely.
Pence's story is incredible. I mean, he was pretty much done last year. He ended up going to winter ball. He fixed his swing. He got a roster spot as a non-roster invitee to spring training. He ended up making the roster, of course, and, the rest is history. And now he's going to be an All-Star game starter again, which is, I mean, nothing but respect for him. He's awesome.
Time to reveal to you guys the 2019 National League All-Stars. Starting off, catcher, Wilson Contreras.
It's probably the right pick.
Yeah,
he's having a nice year, 300.
I mean, who else are you going to pick a catcher? And really?
Exactly. The next 2 closest were Brian McCann and Yasmani Grandal. So
Brian McCann's having a great year, by the way. Former Yankee. I mean, he's having a great year.
But there wasn't much competition there for Wilson Contreras. He kind of ran away with it. Can't argue with that pick.
Right. Moving on. First base, Freddie Familia.
I mean, do I even have to say anything?
Go ahead.
I think we all know who should be playing first base for the National League in the All-Star game. And he resides in New York City. Nicknamed the Polar Bear. Most home runs by a rookie in Met history. And the date is only June 30th. He is closing in on the rookie home run record set by Aaron Judge just a short time ago. Hitting 278, 28 home runs, 62 RBIs, 35 walks, 84 hits, 53 runs. What more could you ask out of the guy?
I mean, it's just, was Pete Alonso even on the ballot? I don't think he was eligible to receive votes.
Not only did he finish second, he didn't finish third. He wasn't even on the top 3.
That is just...
That's the problem.
The Major League Baseball should be ashamed of themselves. Like,
it's terrible.
That kind of ballot,
it's terrible. It's a disgrace.
For Pete Alonso to get snubbed like that, because I mentioned before, like, he's on a pace like that. Not too long ago, Aaron Judge was like remember when Aaron Judge was making headlines?
Yep.
Pete Alonso was like having similar production, and he's just and it's just going really unnoticed. That's a shame because I think it's a lot of it's because it's that the Mets are so bad. Remember when Aaron Judge broke out, the Yankees were made it to 1 game of the World Series, but unfortunately the Mets are just so terrible that Pete Alonso is having a historic rookie season, which is unfortunately getting lost. But the Major League Baseball All-Star voters are supposed to see through this. They're supposed to see through us. They should. He should have at least finished second or third.
That's
Have him
what
not
I'm
even
saying.
finished in the top three is just
And I
it's
guess
shameful. It's shameful.
I can't be mad about Freddie Freeman. I mean, he's having a good season, but as a Met fan, this guy has been having a historically great rookie season. He's been one of the only silver linings in a difficult season, and you would think that he would have gotten the nod. And I still hope, I should say, that he makes the team as a reserve. But I mean,
if he doesn't, then
that's
gonna be a
unbelievable,
shame.
unbelievable.
That'll be like probably one of the big. Remember last year when we were complaining about Blake Snell not making the All-Star team?
He'll
It's gonna
be the
a
Blake
si-
Snell.
It'll be a similar situation to that. So we said before. I mean, Freddie Freeman. I mean, not a terrible choice, but Pete Alonso, man. How are you gonna snub him? So moving on, we're gonna move on. You ready to move on, Jack?
Yeah.
So moving on to the second base, Ketty Marte, I believe is how you pronounce it.
Yeah.
Of the Braves.
Good year. Yeah, I wouldn't argue with that. 316, 20 homers, 51 RBIs. He's having a really nice year for them.
He's having a great year, so I don't think we can really complain. Is there anyone else you thought could have gone not over him?
Moustakas is having a really nice year for the Brewers. I like Ozzy Albies, but he hasn't had as good of a year as he did last year. But I think Marte was the guy.
Yeah, I agree with you. So moving on to another Cubs guy, Javier Baez.
I like this pick. I mean, he's the most electric guy in baseball, and it's funny, there's a tweet, and it says, Javi Baez is currently leading NL shortstops in All-Star voting and eventually won the All-Star voting for shortstop. He started at second base for the NL last year. Only 2 players have started in the All-Star game at second and shortstop in their careers, Bobby Grich and Granny Hamner, and neither did it in back-to-back years. So Javi Baez making some history.
Wow, that's really not. I didn't know that. Jack coming in with the facts. So, okay, moving on to third base. I love the selection. One of my favorite players in the to watch in Major League Baseball, Nolan Arenado of the Colorado Rockies. I think this is a no-brainer.
Yeah, I think you'd have a hard time finding somebody who doesn't like Nolan Arenado. I mean, 317, 57 runs scored, 19 homers, 62 RBIs, a Gold Glove fielder.
I mean, he's everything you want. I know a lot of people say, "Oh, but he plays in Coors Field." I think DJ LeMahieu kind of shut down that kind of Coors Field narrative.
I would take.
I remember arguing with Yankee fans throughout the offseason, saying I saw that Nolan Arenado is better than Manuel Machado. We was like, "Oh, but he plays the Coors Field." I got called. I got called on Twitter, Coors Merchant, for preferring Nolan Arenado over Manny Machado. I mean, because everyone was the Coors Field argument. I mean, look, Nolan Arenado, he's a great player. He's an amazing player. He plays the game the right way. He has unbelievable numbers. He has better numbers than Manny Machado. What does Manny Machado have over Nolan Arenado? It's the fact that he's lazy and dirty. That's it. So I had to get another shot at Manny Machado right there.
This will be his third straight start at third base. He's the first third baseman in the National League to start 3 times in a row since Scott Rowland, 2002 to 2005.
I mean, I don't think there's much debate here. So, moving on to the outfield. First up, Christian Yelich.
Yeah, I just like before we were talking about Bregman, stud. Well, what more can you say? He's awesome, and I'm sure the Marlins are kicking themselves right now because they have a World Series caliber team scattered around the major leagues. Between, Yelich and Stanton, Marcell Ozuna, JT Realmuto, all these guys they gave up and they got nothing back. And they're just sitting at the bottom of the league with almost no hope.
DJ. Derek Jeter, what are you doing?
Questionable decisions. Very questionable decisions.
You have a fan for life in me. I'm a Derek Jeter fan for life. He was my role model growing up. You have a family for life, DJ, but what are you doing? What are you doing? It's just... I mean, that's another rant for another time, so... okay. We'll move on from that to, I think, an even more obvious pick than even Mike Trout. I think this might even be a more obvious pick than Mike Trout. The National League outfield from the Los Angeles Dodgers, Cody Bellinger, he is having an unbelievable year.
Yeah, he has been by far this year. He's been by far the best player in the major leagues.
I agree with you there. Right now, even with Aaron Judge just breaking out, in that season, I don't think we ever really had a discussion that he was really the best player in the major leagues. Cody Bellinger right now is the best player. Right now,
he's hitting 354. That's ridiculous. That's unreal. He's hitting 354.
By advanced metrics, you know what his OPS is? 1.149. That's unbelievable. 27 home runs, 65 RBIs. I mean, you know how old he is, by the way? You know how old he is? He's 23 years old.
That's sickening. And then, I mean, you round out the outfield with Ronald Acuna, who is also basically
we'll get into that later. But focus on Cody Bellinger. I mean, it's just... I'm a dire Yankees fan. I would trade Aaron Judge for Cody Bellinger in a heartbeat.
Oh, yeah, 100%.
That's no disrespect to an Aaron Judge. Cody Bellinger is just...
I would trade anybody in the league straight up for Cody Bellinger, not named Mike Trout, of course. Mike Trout's untouchable. Mike Trout is the crown jewel of baseball.
I mean, a lot of people are saying about Mike Trout is that the fact that he got that contract extension, a lot of people thought if he hit free agency, he would get more than that.
Oh, yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
I said, Mike Trout, I would mail him a blank check. Whatever you want, Michael. Just you write it. You send it to the bank. Whatever it is that you want, you can have it. I'd sell him the team. We'd rename ourselves the New York Mike Trouts.
That team actually be better than the current New York Nets.
You're right.
New York Mike Trout.
I'll tell you what, he'd be a better owner than Jeff Wilpon. I promise you that. I promise you that.
Let Mike Trout, buy the team. He'll play center field. He'll own the team. He'll make all the decisions. He'll construct his own baseball team. And you know what? They'll probably do better than the New York Mets are right now. But getting back to Cody Bellinger, I mean, it's just...
unbelievable year. And defensively, he's been awesome, too.
I mean, defensively, he's been good,
He has a cannon for an arm.
Oh, without a doubt. He plays, I believe, center field, right?
So he goes back and forth between center and right field.
I mean, to even be, to have that kind of offensive production and be, a center fielder, it's just been, unreal. I mean, and again, he's doing this all at 23 years old. I mean,
the sky's the limit.
I mean, the sky's the limit. I would not be surprised. I think it's between Mike Trout and Cody Bellinger. Those two are going to be battling for, the title for best player in baseball for a long time. They both reside in Los Angeles.
Yeah. Should be really fun to see how that plays out.
That's gonna be a lot of fun. So, moving on to our last one, which is Ronald Acuna Jr. from the Braves.
And I mean, it's just incredible how young this outfield is, and how young and talented this outfield is. Yelich, Bellinger, Acuna, and this says, by age, it's the third youngest All-Star starting outfielder in history. And, it's just unbelievable. Unbelievable.
All right, so...
a combined age of 73.14. The only 2 years younger, 1957 and 1940. Wow. And that's outfield featuring Joe DiMaggio and Hank Aaron, Willie Mays. So...
this is a historic National League outfield.
Yeah. I'm sure you'll be hearing about these guys for years to come. So get used to it.
All right. So that's pretty much it. We wrapped up the National League All-Star Stars. So let's just go through on both sides. Like, who would you want to who is going to really get in as reserves? Because I think we'll get into Pete Alonso. Trust me, we'll get into him. But starting back up for the American League, I mean. Who's the catcher for the White Sox again? I forget his name.
Oh, McCann.
James McCann. I think he should get as a reserve.
He's having a great year.
Obviously, Luke Voit will get as a reserve. Jose Altuve, I think, will eventually get in.
And he deserves it. He's awesome.
I mean, he's awesome. I mean,
I would like to see La Stella get a shot.
Yeah, I mean,
but if you're gonna, it's probably gonna come down to La Stella or Altuve. But we'll see.
We'll see what happens.
I think Gleyber will get a spot.
I think Gleyber should definitely get a spot. I mean,
how many reserve spots do they have?
I think they have 3. I think they have 3 per position. I think I'm not 100% sure.
Interesting.
I mean, you could look that up right now. I'm not. And so I mean, I'm not really sure how the reserve voting works. I mean,
I will look it up right now.
all right. So while Jack is looking it up, I mean, other guys I would like seeing get in. I mean, obviously, Pete Alonso I think should get in. Jack, do you think Michael Conforto will get in?
I would like to see it. I don't think he will. I think Jeff McNeil will get in.
Yeah, Jeff McNeil,
I think he should, definitely.
Do you
But-
finish on like one of the top 3 voting, Jeff McNeil?
No. Yeah, the problem with Jeff McNeil is that he plays everywhere.
Yeah.
So it's hard to put him at one position. But
Yeah.
I really hope he makes it because he's having a great year. And, I'd like to see Conforto make it, but it's tough when your team isn't that great to get so many guys, I'm trying to figure this out right now. I don't know why. It should not be this complicated.
While you look this up, I just want to say this right now. To the Wilpons and to Bravo and to Mickey Calaway. If you did not, how many bull saves does the Mets have? They have 20. And how many did you say they need to not blow in order to be a contender in the NL East?
They're 13 back in the NL East,
So
and they've blown 20 saves.
So if they had, listen up, Mets. If you had just not blown, 13 saves, Pete Alonso would have been an All-Star, without a doubt. I mean, Jeff McNeil would have been an All-Star, and so would Michael Conforto. That's all you had to do, Mets. Not blow 13 games, and you let your players down. Way to go, Wilpons. Way to go.
It's tough to think about, but to get off my sadness, the reserves, the pitchers and the reserves for both teams are determined through a combination of player ballot choices and selections made by the commissioner's office.
All right, so how many reserves for per position per team? I think it's
Major League before the 2009 game. Major League Baseball.
I mean, so while Jack's looking it up, I mean, Yankees right now are currently trailing 4-2 against the Boston Red Sox. It's the top of the 7th inning. There's a runner at second. Aaron Judge is at the plate, so we'll see what happens there. I mean, complete opposite game from what we saw yesterday. Yesterday was like a complete slugfest. Now it's more of a low-scoring game. I mean, I texted my buddy Joe Lappy, who's more of a betting man. He said, "Would you bet the under this game?" He said he wouldn't touch it. So ultimately, it looks like under would have been a pretty nice bet today, which is rare. When is ever under a good bet on FanDuel really?
It's 33 players for each league.
33 players for each league.
And then now they have the final vote.
All
so with the one, plus the one final. So it's 34 players for each league.
All right. So 34 players for each league. So I think you subtract I think you subtract 9 for that. You'll have like 25. So 25 more players will get in.
Yeah. So you can imagine McCann will get in from the White Sox. You'll probably definitely see Luke Voit for the Yankees.
Luke Voit should definitely get in.
You'll probably get La Stella and Altuve, Gleyber Torres, maybe even Carlos Correa.
Yeah. I think Carlos Correa should make it too.
You might get Gio Urshela. Maybe.
I mean, maybe. I mean,
he'll
I'm not
be
sure.
He'll be on that borderline. He might be one of the final vote guys. He might be in that final vote conversation.
Yeah, I think I'll probably be in that final vote conversation. Which, by the way, Giancarlo Stanton should have made it last year. I mean,
I agree. And then in the outfield, you'll get Judge, you'll get Betts.
I mean, I think Judge will make it. The thing is, should Judge make it? I mean, I'm a huge fan of Judge, but the fact that he missed so much time with the injury.
I agree, and I respect the fact that you're a reasonable Yankee fan.
Yeah.
JD,
I think the reason why he's making it is because he's Aaron Judge.
Yeah,
He's the
exactly.
most remarkable star in baseball. To have an All-Star game without Aaron Judge would be like to have an All-Star game without Derek Jeter. It's kind of like similar fashion.
Yeah, and you'll see JD Martinez. He'll make it. The outfield will be tough. I mean, Eddie Rosario could have a shot.
I mean,
Joey
will
Gallo.
Mookie Betts make it?
I think Mookie Betts will make it.
All right, yeah. I mean, and obviously Stan's not making it, and
no, unfortunately, he's been bit by the injury bug.
Yeah,
so far this year.
Yes, so. Yeah, that pretty much wraps up our Major League Baseball All-Star stars. I mean, really, it's just I think the biggest takeaway is that I looked so far. Our biggest takeaway is the fact that there's a lot of talent right now in the Mets that's just being wasted. It's really,
They'll
sad
be all
to
right.
see.
They're not that far off, and I'm confident that they will find
You're
a way
still
to right the
confident,
ship.
I mean,
Maybe not
you're
this
s-
year. Maybe not this year.
I think next year they
but
could figure it out.
In the coming 2-3 years, I think they'll be just fine.
Which of our preseason predictions is more likely? The Mets winning 95 games or Yankees winning 106? Which is more likely?
I said 90. But yeah, probably yours because I
Well,
don't.
I don't
see
think
the Mets
either is
winning 90
happening.
games. I mean, what are they at right now? 37. So they would have to have probably the greatest second half in MLB history.
Kind of like Yankees 2007.
No big deal.
I mean, no big deals. No big deals. The Yankees right now are at, speaking of 106 wins, they're at 53. Halfway there. So, I mean, yeah, I think we're pretty much done talking about everything we want to talk about, except we have, 10 minutes left? So, Jack, if you have anything on you want to get off your mind, go ahead.
I'm just excited. I'm sitting here. It's 12:49 on Sunday, June 30th, the day I've been waiting for since probably early in the season when it first became, a conversation that the Nets would be. I'm sure you remember when the rumors first started coming out.
Aaron Hicks double. Yankees have now trailing 4-3.
There you go.
There we go. So,
But
one more run away, baby. One more run away.
I'm sure they'll score because the baseballs are juiced.
I mean, especially in this stadium. I remember first to Yankee Stadium as a minor league stadium. This place makes Yankee Stadium look like Ebbets Field.
You're right. Though. You're right.
Yeah.
You'd be like the Polo Grounds.
Polo Grounds. That was the thing I was looking for.
But I can't sum up my feelings any more than
All right.
I'm just so excited. 6 hours from now, not even about 5 hours and 10 minutes from now, we will be getting ready to
For
see
the chaos to begin.
Kyrie Irving will be in a Brooklyn Net uniform.
I mean,
And Kyrie Irving.
Wait, will they introduce Kyrie Irving and Kevin Durant in the same press conference, assuming they're in Kevin Durant, or will they introduce
Hopefully.
Kyrie Irving as a separate one?
Well, they'll probably wait and see who else they get because they will make another move, whether it's Kevin Durant or not. They'll make another move, so they'll
think
wait.
they'll get another guy. They will not renounce D'Angelo Russell if they weren't confident they were going to get another guy. So
Exactly.
Makes no sense. So
And I'm just so excited. Kyrie Irving, I don't know you probably don't know, but Kyrie Irving has been a guy who has been one of my favorite players in the league the last
he's
few
one
years.
of my favorite players to watch.
I have his Cavaliers jersey. His basketball shoes are my favorite to wear.
I'm getting his Nets jersey.
I've gotten a pair of
day
the
one.
1s, the 3s, the 4s, the 5s. I wear all of his shoes, and that's my guy. And I can't wait to see him back home in Brooklyn. He was a Net fan growing up. He'll finally be able to come back, chip on his shoulder, hometown team, and he has something to prove. So I'm really excited for it, and we're a week away from seeing how realistic it is.
One of the reasons I fell in love with D'Angelo Russell was the whole comeback story. The fact that he was a cast-off from the Lakers. He ended up, coming, and then ultimately we witnessed, one of the better comeback stories in recent memory. A Kyrie Irving comeback story would be just as, even if not even more special, because he would end up coming back home. He grew up a Nets fan. He's coming back home to come back home and ultimately, win a championship for his hometown team. That would be an incredible story.
Yeah, and like you said, what was the league-wide feeling on D'Angelo Russell when the Nets traded for him? That
Snitch,
nobody wants
not a
him. He's a
leader.
snitch. He's a terrible leader. He won't make it in the league. He's a bust. He's over. He'll be a role player. And he came in, and look what happened.
Yeah.
And what's the league-wide feeling on Kyrie Irving right now? Terrible leader. He's a cancer in the locker room. He doesn't want to play with anybody. He can't lead a team. Just wait on it.
We'll
Just
see
wait.
what happens,
We'll
right?
see. He'll have his chance now.
Oh, I wanted to, before you close out the show, I just wanted to throw a stop back at that. I just listened on topics I wanted to get to. Thoughts on your Rangers? You're getting Capo Caca. You're getting,
very excited.
I forget the other guy. I mean, who's?
One of those overseas. I forget his name. I mean,
No, the defenseman you got. I mean, it was a trade from Winnipeg. Jacob Trouba, I think is his name.
Oh, okay. Yes.
We got Jack Hughes and we got PK Subban. I think it's gonna be I think the rivalry is back between the Hudson River rivalry between the two teams has kind of gotten dormant for a couple of years. I think now with Jack Hughes going 1 to the Devils and Capo Caco going number 2 to the Rangers, I think that rivalry is about to heat up again in a big way.
And even definitely those two teams. The Islanders had a pretty good season too.
Oh, without a doubt.
The tri-state area hockey teams are looking pretty good. So it should be really exciting for any hockey fans in the city these next few years. And I got to give all the credit in the world to, first of all, the Devils. They've done such a great job coming from where they were at to now. And Jack Hughes looks like a total stud. So I'm happy for you guys. But
did you want him because you share the same name? Did you want him because you share the same name?
And that's the thing about the Rangers. I was happy because either way, we were getting either Hughes or Kako, and I think they're both going to be studs.
You were in a win-win situation.
Exactly.
Like, it's a win-win for both teams.
Exactly. And, what the Rangers have done is so impressive. The talent that they've been able to find in, any corner of the world, they've found it, and I can't wait to see them put it all together. Maybe not even this upcoming year. Maybe it'll take another year, but I think they are right on the brink of being a really good team again.
I feel the same about those. I think both teams are really just a couple of pieces away from becoming legitimate, championship contenders. I think they're both very close.
We're only a few years removed from some great playoff matchups.
Oh, yeah.
In the Hudson River
2012,
Rivalry.
I mean, I was never watching that game. I was going nuts. I mean, I was like, you should have seen me during that game. I was back in high school. A lot of my friends there in high school are Rangers fans, so I hated the Rangers. So I got into a lot of trash talk on it. So when Henry scored that goal, I remember being the happiest kid on the planet. So.
I'm very excited. It should be fun.
I'm excited. Hey, we got NHL free agency, we got NBA free agency, baseball season, we got the trade deadline heating up. I mean, it's a fun time to be, I think my sports life and your sports life is about to get really good really quickly.
No doubt about that. Between, you have the Yankees, the Nets, and the Devils, and the Yankees. I said the Yankees already. The Yankees, the Devils, and the Nets, and even the Giants.
Maybe
Daniel Jones,
who
knows? And then I got the Rangers, the Nets, the Jets, who I'm really excited about, and
the Nets,
Pete Alonso, Jeff McNeil.
The Nets and the Jazz are in similar pools.
Exactly. There's potential there, but either way, we have a lot to look up to these next couple of years. So exciting time to be a metropolitan area sports fan.
All right. Thanks for listening to the Fire and Thunder Sports Podcast. Be sure to like, comment, favorite, and subscribe to Super Adam 66 for more of the podcast, as well as more sports and entertainment content. Also follow on Twitter and Instagram at Grassani 6.